Here we go for a 7-inning game in Keene, New Hampshire at Alumni Field. It's the NECBL as the Sanford Mainers are in town as they just picked up a big win in a continued game after a suspension on Tuesday. Sanford scored 7 in the 5th to get out to a 13-3 victory over the Keene SwampBats. Andrew Hillsman here with Jackson Walsh. Jackson, Keene has an opportunity to wipe the slate clean and pick up a big win against a division rival.
This is a big game because the Mainers are right behind them. They're the closest team to them. After that last game, 4.5 games back is Sanford in second place. So this is a big swing game. If Keene wins it, you just reset like that first game never even happened. You're still 5.5 games up. But if Sanford's win this, 3.5 games back, it almost feels like last summer when the Mainers were on the tail of Keene all of July battling for second place because Vermont was way out in front. But really pivotal game for the entire league this summer. Has some big implications on it.
Yeah, Keene at 19-10, Sanford at 14-14. It's the first time they've been 500 all summer long. So Sanford looking to extend their momentum. Keene looking to prevent another skid. Well, we'll have baseball on the other side of the break as lineups will be introduced, and we'll go to the national anthem as Ribby takes his ride around the field. We'll be right back here from Keene, New Hampshire. Fantastic rendition of the national anthem. It's almost time for game 2 of this modified doubleheader. It will be a 7-inning contest. And for the keys of the game, we're going to send it down to Ryan Fitzpatrick for the first time tonight. Ryan?
Thank you, Andrew. Well, after that Game 1 loss, the SwampBats have still yet to garner back-to-back wins since late June. Now, going into Game 2 after a loss, you have to just ride off the momentum still after yesterday's win. Speaking with Michael Fernandez after Game 1, who pitched in Game 1, he said, we're just going to have to keep the energy high. How can we do that? We just have to ride off each other's momentum and scream at each other pitch to pitch from the first pitch to the last pitch. Being a good teammate and riding off each other's momentum, that's the keys to the game. Back to you guys.
The SwampBats with a chance to wipe the slate clean after a 3-13 loss against the Sanford Mainers just a little bit ago. And the pitching matchup is an interesting one today. Skip Shinosky makes his first start for the SwampBats this year, and then Nathan Teague makes his second starting appearance.
Big starts for both guys, and I feel like it's a really big start for Teague, too, on the other side. We'll see him come out for the bottom of the first just because he hasn't started much this season. You talked about Andrew, just one start, and this is arguably the biggest game of the Mainers summer. They had a lot of big games, and you got to look at Shinosky here. He's a big guy out there at 6'5" on the mound, an intimidating presence from the right side.
Yeah, Skip Shinosky is going to be the starter for the SwampBats today, 6'5". So a couple of tall pitchers here for both of these sides, tall right-handers. Shinosky not a guy who wows with velocity, but more of a control and movement guy, and on the year a 2.40 ERA in 6 appearances. Here's the look at the Keene defense, 5th best fielding percentage in the NECBL. Michael O'Brien, Marshall Lipsy, and Jack Herring are the outfielders. From left to right in the infield, Nick Romano at third, Andrew Bell at short. Second baseman Timon Olfey, who leads the league in average at 407, and then Chandler Tupou, and then TJ Schuyler doing the catching with Shinosky on the mound.
It's a similar lineup that Sanford has gone with a lot of the last week or so out there. Good shot of Brendan Sensai. He'll lead off. Third base again. Then Jenkins bats second and right. Saw him in the last game. Jack Toomey back in the 3 spot in center. Brennan Hudson gets moved up to 4th in the order after batting 6th last game. I think that 3-run homer helped. Dom Tozzi does the catching, bats 5th. Kyle Doohan in the DH spot. Charlie Jones in left. Zach Kent in the 8-hole at second. Lowest he's been in the lineup this year. Nick Lopp's kind of hiding him down there, and not bad to hide Kent with Trey King right behind him, batting over 300 in the 9-hole.
It's going to be an interesting one, especially after these two teams picked up their suspended game, and we'll see what Shinosky has. Bullpen starts have been a little iffy thus far for Keene, but Shinosky looking to change that narrative. As Sensei will get comfortable in the batter's box, a batter's box that he is historically quite comfortable in here at Alumni Field. Has homered 3 times here this year, and we are ready to get going here at Alumni Field for a 7-inning contest in the North Division. First pitch is a liner out to center, and Lipsy doesn't have to go too far. 1 pitch, 1 out.
It's just
for
good,
the Mainers.
Good all-around baseball. Shinosky comes with something in the zone. First pitch, Sensei was ready for it. It was a good piece, and just right at the center fielder, Lipsy. Sometimes it's going to happen when you get a good piece of the ball.
The umpires for tonight's contest: Curtis Dugar is calling balls and strikes behind the plate. Robert Strempik, who was the home plate umpire for earlier's game, who moves to first, and then Matt Wetmore comes in as the third base umpire. Back to a 3-man crew, as is standard, and Curtis Dugar will be calling balls and strikes. So Shinosky, 1 pitch, 1 out, efficient for the Penn State man. And Dugar is happy that he's wearing a helmet today, as bounces off the mask. Strike 1 off of a foul tip from Luke Jenkins.
Talked about Jenkins a little bit last game. Him and Strohmeyer were back-to-back in the lineup, and he and Strohmeyer are guys that do their damage to the opposite field, and we saw it from Jenkins, a backside double in game 1.
0-1, that's through on the left side for a 0-1 single, 1 on, 1 out for the Mainers, as Jenkins is aboard.
Well, right on cue. Opposite field single wasn't as hard hitter deep as the double, but that works as the Mainers have their first base runner of the night.
Yeah, that double was all the way back in the crevice in left center. Anywhere else in the ballpark, it has a chance to get out. Just a couple of feet short. We'll see what Jack Toomey has in the 3 slot. He was hitting in the 4 slot earlier today. Strohmeyer not in the lineup to start this contest, as Shinosky will look in and offer his first pitch to Toomey, who's hitting .258 on the year. That pitch is high. Jenkins has only attempted stealing twice this year. He's been successful both instances.
You see him start to really pick it up after dealing with those hamstring issues. This would not be a bad time to run.
Runs inside, and Toomey turns away from it.
And Toomey batting .258 this year. That's a pretty good .258 with 2 home runs and 16 RBIs as well.
It's efficient and effective. Shinosky has struggled a little bit with walks this year, 13 walks to 7 strikeouts. 2-0 pitch. Goes with the off speed. It's just fouled on the left field line. Hit hard at 94, but went on foul. He went with the changeup, and the changeup has the profile of a lefty curveball.
That one, I don't think it was his best from Shinosky. It just felt like it was hanging up there, and it hung enough where it actually worked out for Shinosky because Toomey was so early on it that he pulled it foul.
So 2 balls, 1 strike with Jenkins, the right fielder, on first. Goes back to the well with the changeup, and it's fouled out of play. Nice catch by a young fan over there.
That's why you bring
behind
the glove.
bleachers. Oh, yeah. White shirt and the black and white, black and camo hat. He's kind of hidden behind the bleachers now, but he'll deserve his kudos for that snag. Here's the 2-2. Goes outside, and we run it full for the first time today.
It's a big pitch early in this game. The Mainers have been a really good team in the first inning. And you go back to last game. First inning was on Tuesday, but 6 runs in that game. They put up a 7 spot the night before against North Shore.
3-2, 1 away. Swing and a fly ball out to left field. Back at the track, O'Brien has a beat. He makes the catch. Good range from the SwampBats left fielder, and there's 2 away.
And Jack Toomey comes back smiling. He just missed that to left field. Got a pretty good 91 off the bat, but just a little too in the air. He just missed it, and Shinosky's really going to that off speed early. That one at 74 again, and Toomey, a couple good swings on it, but Shinosky gets the out.
So now 2 away with 1 on. We'll see what Brandon Hudson has against the right-hander Shinosky. Shinosky, a guy who's able to stride down the mound pretty far, a 6'5" frame. Has a good stride. One of the taller pitchers on this team. Fresh count to the first baseman, Hudson. He swings and tips this one back into TJ Schuyler's glove.
There's the off-speed again at 77, just messing with the timing of Hudson a little bit.
He has a fastball that can get up to 87, 88, but it's not his primary pitch. 0-1 to Brandon Hudson. He goes with the fastball there, and that is hammered deep to right field. Back it goes. See ya. Off the red barn, it's 2-0 Sanford.
Have a day, Brennan Hudson. Second blast of the afternoon. And this is a big one here because his last home run, they already had a big of a lead. This one to make it 2-0. 6th of the summer, team leading 6th home run. Stays hot at the dish.
And now that ties him for the league lead at 6 as well. So Brennan Hudson is hammering baseballs. That one off the barrel at 102, a center cut fastball. And that one got out of here in a hurry. He knew it right off the bat. A nice clean swing.
That's just, you took the words out of my mouth, Andrew. Just pure to right field. He does all of his damage to right. And that's what the Mainers need, momentum in this game. They want to get Keene down early. And Hudson helps out in the first.
Shinosky will try and bounce back with 2 outs. Fires the first pitch strike. That's the first homer that Shinosky has allowed this year. Usually a guy who keeps the ball in the ballpark, but just left that one out too far over the heart of the plate. There's Dom Tazi, who's 9 for 29 at the plate. Swings an off-speed pitch.
It's a tough back-to-back to face in the Mainers order, too, with Hudson and then Tazi. That 9 for 29 from Tazi. 2 of those are home runs. One of them was here to right center at Keene, and that infamous top of the 10th inning.
The barrage.
3 2-run homers in that top of the 10th for Sanford. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was something. 14th pitch on the way for Shinosky in this first inning, looking to limit the damage as there's a fly ball, foul territory. Ranging after it is Herring, and he will not have a chance to get to it as it lands on the out-of-play line.
Way up there, just a little too much slice on that ball. So a good second chance for Tazi right now, and try to let Shinosky get out of this inning. The damage is done, but you really want to keep your foot on the gas because this is a Keene team that can swing it pretty well at the plate, considering they have Timon Alfie and Marshall Lipsy 1 and 2 in the lineup. That's a really good top of the order for Keene.
We'll talk about them in the bottom of this inning. 0-2 Misses.
Looks like that was
Outside, yep. Goes to 1-2. A fastball not really close to the plates. Checking if Tazi, the Chanticleer, would go after it. 1-2. Swing and a liner off the boot of Shinoski, and it's going to help the SwampBats. Bell has to hustle the throw in time. A 1-6-3 put out to end the inning. You don't see that one very often, but Shinoski with the soccer assist to end the inning. It's 2-0 Sanford. We're through 1/2 inning.
There he goes. On a second. Got it. One is gone. Two-run shot for Lisa. This young man has played. The payoff is crushed.
I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. We put the balls in the place. I'm talking one chance at best, yes. Painting pictures for the culture, keep the brushes fresh. Flip the drummer, work the drummer, passion never rests. Freedom is a teacher under pressure, now we blessed. Yeah, it's one art, one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go.
Bottom of the first we go. Sanford jumps out to a 2-0 lead off of a Brennan Hudson home run, which ties him for the league lead in long bombs. And we'll see what Nathan Teague has to offer on the mound, the tall right-hander for the Meese, as they're colloquially known. Jackson, what do we know about him?
The good old Meese. Teague out of Snow Camp, North Carolina. He's a big guy out there. 6'7", 230. Probably be better in the post for Vanderbilt, but a pretty good pitcher, too. 5th game of the summer, 2nd start, 6 2/3 innings, 10 strikeouts, 5 walks to 5 hits. Last time out was on July 2nd in the Game 2 loss of the doubleheader against North Adams, but he was a bright spot for Sanford. 3 scoreless with just 1 hit and 4 strikeouts. Guy that doesn't come at you with a 4-seam, and he wants to get ground balls on his sinkers, and he's got a really good infield out there. We'll take a look at the outfield first with Jones, Toomey, and Jenkins, and then in the infield, Sensei at 3rd, King at short, Kent at 2nd, Hudson at 1st, and doing the catching is Dom Tazi.
And then, how will the SwampBats line up today? Let's have a look. Marshall Lipsy is going to lead the bats off. He's playing center. A team that's tied for 1st in batting average at 260. Lipsy's hitting 340, then Timon Olfe, the average leader, at 408. Nick Romano hits 3rd, then Herring in 4th. O'Brien at the 5 hole. Chandler Tupou hitting 6th. TJ Schuyler, Aiden Harris, and Andrew Bell will round out 7, 8, and 9. Harris, who got in the game as a 3rd baseman late in last game, is now going to DH.
It's a big start for Teague, and I like this idea, having Teague throw at Keene. Obviously, the ball flies out of here. We saw it last inning with Hudson. It's a guy, I talked about it in the intro, doesn't have a 4-seam. He throws that sinker a lot, so look for him to try to get a lot of ground ball outs.
So we'll see what Marshall Lipsy has. 1 homer, 8 RBI, and 340 at the plate this year. He led off last night's game against Vermont, was 0 for 3 with 2 walks and 2 hit by pitches. Scored a run as well. First offering to him is past his barrel, strike 1.
It's a good pitch from Teague. Was ready to challenge Lipsy. Lipsy was ready to challenge him.
0-1 on the way from Teague. Waves and misses. He goes off speed that time.
That's nasty stuff. The changeup at 81 to a lefty. A really good righty changeup to a lefty bat is one of the best pitches in baseball.
And Manolfi waiting on deck, trying to time up the swing. Here's 0-2 to Lipsy, who spits on that one in the dirt.
Right back to the changeup, just not tempting enough for Lipsy to chase.
See a native of Longview, Texas, big Dallas Cowboys fan. 1-2 the count to the leadoff hitter for the Bats. Looking to put a spark into 1. 1-2, that's in the dirt again. Dom Tazi will make a nice pick.
Talked about it a little last game. You can get to 0-2, 1-2, mess around a little bit, but once it's 2-2, you got to go attack a hitter.
Yep. See where he goes. Last 2 pitches in the dirt on the off speed. Here comes Teague. 2-2 is high, runs it to a full count to the leadoff man, Marshall Lipsy.
It's not the time to walk the leadoff man. You want to continue to just run with it after the 2-0 lead. You don't want to allow free passes. You let Lipsy beat you, but don't give him a free pass.
Full count. Fouled back. Lipsy staying alive, and this is only going to help Keene, getting the pitch count up early in the inning.
It's a good fight. That's what you want out of your leadoff man. Somebody that doesn't strike out a lot, puts the ball in play, and it helps out when your leadoff man's also hitting .340.
You got a guy who's hitting .408 on deck. I don't think any team is going to be too disappointed with that at this point in the year. 3-2 on its way again. That one's high, and Lipsy will take his walk to first.
Good at bat. Just got right away from Teague after being up 0-2. It felt like he had Lipsy in the palm of his hand, and then 4 consecutive balls with a couple of foul balls mixed in there. Good at bat, and that's what you need if you're Keene with Manalfi coming to the plate after taking that 2-0 hit in the top of the first.
29 for 71 at the plate for Ty Manalfi. Good enough for a .408 average. And home plate umpire Curtis Duger will brush off the umpire, or brush off the home plate. Fresh count to Ty Manalfi with the base running threat Lipsy at first. He's 9 for 9 on stolen base attempts.
Good time for a 2-ball with that changeup or sinker if you're Teague.
Lipsy stays put on the first offering. That's just high. Manalfi, go ahead.
You've seen back-to-back fastballs miss upstairs here. That's not what you want with that sinker. You want that sinker working low and away in the zone.
Manalfi has only struck out 8 times in 71 at-bats. Not too bad of a clip, I'd say. There goes Lipsy on the 0-1. Throw from Tazi is a good one. Not in time. Lipsy, his 10th stolen base of the year.
Not much else you could do. That was an excellent throw, a laser from Tazi and a perfect tag from King. But Lipsy with too much speed got a tremendous jump. When you have a guy with speed like that and he gets anything close to a good jump, he's usually going to be safe.
And safe he was. Got in there with a foot first slide. And a 1-1 count on a called strike to Manalfi, who didn't want to put the ball in play. Look at one away, and Nick Romano sitting on deck. He's been a guy who's hopped around in the lineup. We've seen him hit cleanup. We've seen him hitting that 5-hole a lot earlier in June during the win streak.
Sean McKenna, you want a guy like that that's going to be flexible at any point in the order.
That one's high. Manalfi, 14 walks on the year as well. As a very peculiar but consistent little mental reset routine as he steps in front. He always steps out of the box and rubs the dirt with his right hand and relaces his batting gloves.
Baseball's a big superstition sport.
3-1, foul back and another full count.
It's a good bounce back from Teague on the mound. You don't want to allow 2 free passes. But if you are going to allow free passes, those are probably the best guys you can put on base and not let them hurt you at the plate swinging the bat.
Still no outs with a man in scoring position for Ty Manalfi. Looking to drive in his 19th of the year. Here's the 3-2 from Nathan Teague. That one's low and inside. 2 consecutive walks to lead off the game. Good start for Keene.
It's that sinker fastball, whatever Teague wants to call it. He's just not commanding it right now. Missing high a couple times. He missed low that time. You'd rather miss low than high, but Tom Tazi will head out there, talk to him. Josh Guptill, the Mainers pitching coach, will make his way out there as well. And Teague had trouble with his command his first time out. He walked 3 in 1 inning, but since then, he's only walked 2 in 5 2/3 since that opening night outing on June 18th. So it's just not what you want, especially in a starting spot right now for Teague when you have a 2-0 lead. When you get a lead, the best thing you can do on the mound is follow it up with a 0.
Keene with a chance to capitalize. The left on base statistic is something that plagued them, even though they got the win last night. They left 19 runners on, but scored 15, so that's usually good enough to beat a lot of teams in this league. Keene and Vermont always go back and forth offensively. Just kind of a hitting battle back and forth whenever those teams play. you never really know what you're going to get out of a Keene-Sanford matchup.
No, never. And one thing if I was Keene that I would like to see right now, might be a little uncharacteristic, but a sacrifice bunt. You have two guys with speed on the base.
I wouldn't mind it.
You put the ball in play, you put some pressure on the defense, and then if you get out, then it's whatever. You got a sack bunt, you did your job, and you have Jack Herring on deck.
We saw it work last night, and that's what they'll do, but that's called a strike as Romano pulled it back. Just clips the lower half of the zone. That's definitely the play here, and I think he's going to go after it again, would be my guess.
I would go right back to it. You have a strike to work with.
Corner infielders playing in relative to their normal positions. Manolfi's trying to hide behind the first baseman Hudson over there. No bunt that time, that's called a strike.
And now it's a good job from Teague because the bunt will likely be wiped off.
They got a swing here.
See the occasional two-strike bunt, but not in a setting like this, so that's what you got to do if you're Teague. Bounce right back after 2 walks. It's 0-2. But you had the leadoff man, Lipsy, 0-2. You fooled around a little bit, walked him, so you got to stay the course with Romano right now.
Romano, a .240 hitter on the year with a homer and 17 batted in. And a clock violation on Nathan Teague will make the count 1-2.
So now you really got to go after him after a free ball.
Probably a challenge pitch coming. Just high, good take from Romano. 91 that time from the tall right-hander Nathan Teague.
It is a great 2-strike take. Just another sinker that got away from him a little bit, up and away.
Teague, a guy who plays for Coach Tim Corbin at Vanderbilt, one of the most legendary coaches in the game. 2-2 on the way. Good take outside. Went with the off speed.
There's the changeup that time. Just, we saw it a couple times from Melton with the breaking ball in game 1. It just stays there arm side and doesn't have that action on it when you snap through it.
2 consecutive walks. Romano trying to make it a 3rd consecutive, and he will. Bases are loaded, nobody out with Jack Herring up to the plate.
Bases loaded, no hits for Keene, and that's now 2 0-2 counts where Keene has worked a walk and got some help there with a pitch clock violation to make it 1-2, but what a bounce back for Keene right now. They haven't had to do any work at the plate besides a couple of good takes, but in a real good shot here to chip into this deficit after going down 2-0.
And this is the guy you want at the plate. Jack Herring with 5 long bombs on the year, 17 runs batted in. Keene trails by 2. First pitch to Herring. Gets away, and Lipsy will stay at 3rd.
An assist there from Curtis Dugar.
Yeah, got a little
plate.
lucky. Went off of his shin guard. It's a ball. A kick save there if he was a hockey goalie.
Herring's a guy that's really hurt Sanford this summer. Had the homer at Goodall Park last game that ended today. And another game where he had 3 doubles against the Mainers.
Powerful swing from both sides of the plate. 1-0 from Teague. That one's low.
Another walk here. This is a spot where Sanford might have to get somebody up and moving in the bullpen.
There's somebody who's just entered it. I don't know who it is.
It's the catcher, Cole McGinnis, so maybe he'll start catching somebody soon.
2-0, there's a strike.
Yeah, went to the off speed, it looked like, to just get it over the plate. That was a good job from Herring to take all the way on that pitch. You don't want to give Teague a free strike by a bad swing.
So 3 consecutive walks. Puts Lipsy at 3rd, Manolfi at 2nd, and Romano at 1st. 2-1. Swing and a well-hit ball back at the fence, right field, back it goes. Goodbye, grand slam, Bats lead 4-2. Herring, 6 on the year, and the game has been flipped on its head in the 1st. Here we go again, Jackson.
It's where free passes hurt you in baseball. 3 walks, and I just talked about him. Herring has been the Mainers' kryptonite all summer, and he does it in a big way here in the 1st.
21 runs batted in. The first to 20 on this team, and he leads the team with 6 long bombs. 343 feet, just enough to get out over there. Just kind of back and right over That fence in right field. What a way for this game to start. 6 runs combined in the first inning, and the Bats lead 4-2 as O'Brien swings at the first pitch. Shallow left field, running back on it. Making the play is Trey King for out number 1.
Yeah, there is action in the Mainers bullpen right now. Looks like that's TJ Curley down there getting warm, the Sanford, Maine native. Well, it's good that T got his first out of the inning, but the damage was done on that big swing from Herring, and that's not a cheap shot over there in right field either.
No, it went 343 feet. No pitch. They got to cut the music. Curtis Stugar says that pitch won't count. It was a ball high, but it won't matter. And I was having trouble seeing through the netting here. If that ball got over the fence, I didn't know if it got behind the sign or what, but had to look at the umpire, Robert Strempick, and I saw him waving the finger. Means it's a grand slam.
Jenkins had a chase on it, and he'd be the first one to tell you that that was out of here. Just gave up right at the fence and watched it fly.
0-1 to the first baseman, Tupou. That one barely misses off the outside part of the plate. And talk about a tall pitcher who's able to get down the mound effectively. It shortens the distance for a hitter.
A really good extension out there on the mound.
1-1 to Tupou. In the dirt, almost gets him in the shins. That time 7 feet 6 inches down the mound. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's some of the best I've seen around the league, and it helps when you're standing at 6'7". With some athleticism, too.
Yes, you got to be an athlete for that, too. 2-1 to the first baseman, Tupou. One goes high and away. Struggling with control is Teague early in this one.
It's that fastball that's gotten away from Teague, and that just sets up times where he has to come at hitters, and they're ready for a fastball to go and get it.
We've seen Teague play against the Bats this year. Last time in that 12-1 victory for the Bats. That one's down and away, a 4th walk this inning as Tupou takes a free pass to first. And they might be trying to hustle up the reliever in the bullpen for Sanford.
Yeah, it might be TJ Curley time soon. Probably going to depend on how this bat goes with Skyler stepping up to the plate, but you can't mess around much more. This is a game you need. You're already trailing by 2, just like Keene was trailing by 2, but
right.
Helps out when you get a grand slam.
Always a big time thing. Crowd has begun to fill up. It's a really nice night here, not too hot. As the right-handed hitter Skyler steps in, takes one inside.
And another one that just runs right off of his hand, arm side. In that fastball this inning, he just hasn't had the same control on it like he has his last 3 outings.
Yeah, got 2 outs in a relief appearance, allowed a hit and struck out 2. Skyler a pop-up, and it's out of play. Tazi will have a look at it, but it'll... Oh, heads up. Everybody's fine, but the kids had to scramble away from it. Got to be careful if you're over there.
You also got to think the damage has been done this inning, but there's still only 1 out.
Right.
This is a really big spot for Teague to try to go get those final 2 outs of the inning.
See if he can get the sinker to work well. Tupou thinks about going. There's a called strike to TJ Skyler. Runs it to 1-2. Right on the black. That's a great pitch.
That's been his best pitch this inning. He's been feeling the slider, just getting it over there for strikes. Has really good movement on it, too.
Teague trying to escape the inning. 1-2. Nice block by Dom Tazi. That's for another baseball.
He's a guy that was a catcher at Coastal Carolina, but didn't see any time behind the plate because he had Bodine in front of him, one of the best defensive catchers across college baseball, arguably the best.
Yeah, pretty tough to play in front of a guy like that. What a fun story was following Coastal all the way to the College World Series championship. That one misses low. It's now 3-2, another full count, and already 33 pitches in the inning with only 1 away.
You got to think if Skyler gets on here, that might be the end of the night for Teague, as looks like Curley is just about ready to go in the Mainers bullpen.
(3-2), that's in the dirt. 5 walks in the inning, and 2 on, and We'll see if manager Nick Lops emerges from the dugout. Yes, he will. This looks like it'll be the end of the day for Nathan Teague. Just did not have the control.
It all starts with a fastball. Once you don't have command of the fastball, then you can't work your other pitches off of that. So a bit of a setback for Teague after a tough first outing of the summer and then consecutive outings that were really lights out. Struggles with the command here.
All right, now they'll bring in the relief arm, and we'll take a break. Bats lead 4-2, one away here in the first. The Mainers will put in a lefty in response to the tough starting outing for Nathan Teague, as it's T.J. Curley, the Sanford native, a left-hander out of Stonehill College. What do we know about him?
The hometown kid, third appearance of the summer. He was at Stonehill this spring, was dealing with a back injury, only had 3 appearances for the Skyhawks. He was their Saturday guy, so a talented arm. Also a second-year Sanford Mainer. He actually was in the All-Star game last summer via the fan vote. I think the city of Sanford helped him out big time, but in TJ's 2 appearances so far, he's looked really good. 2 scoreless innings. Last time he threw was at home on the 4th of July against Ocean State. Scoreless inning, no hits, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. This is a big spot for TJ. He's used to pitching in this ballpark, pitched here a couple times last summer against the SwampBats, so Sanford and Nick Lops really need him right now. He's going to inherit 2 runners on base and need to limit the damage, collect some outs, keep his team in this game.
Now, you got to know him, I would assume, last year when you were on the pitching staff. A guy that probably has a lot of pride, maybe grew up going to these Sanford games as a kid.
He did, and he grew up playing his high school ball at Goodall Park. That's where Sanford High plays, so.
Gosh, wouldn't that be a fun high school park to play at, huh?
He's so happy to play at his high school field. He also played in other games there growing up, Babe Ruth, Legion, all of that fun stuff. And
right.
He's also just a really good guy out there, too. He's a big part of the community, and you can tell he's well-liked because anytime he gets an out on the mound at Goodall Park, the place erupts no matter the score of the game.
So T.J. Curley will be the pitcher and transfer out of Mount St. Mary's. Only made 3 appearances this past spring at Stonehill College for the Skyhawks. He started 2 games, pitched 5 2/3 innings, and struggled a little bit.
Yeah, dealing with that back injury that I talked about before. It's something that he had to battle through a lot. That's why he wasn't cleared to pitch till July 1st this summer.
Good to see him back and on the bump. First offering inside to Aiden Harris, who's starting at the DH position. Guy from Virginia, 4 for 10 this year in his spring ball with the Cavaliers. He's 1 for 12 with 6 strikeouts with Keene so far, but he's got a strong bat. Looks at strike 1, now he's seen it.
TJ has a little bit of similarities to Nick Melton, too. Another
except for the facial
reliever
hair.
lefty. Exactly. TJ's clean cut out there. I don't know if he can even grow it, but a guy that isn't going to overwhelm you with a fastball, but can command that and work his breaking ball really well off of it.
Herring looks at a ball just low.
Kind of has that invisible for his fastball. Has a lot of good ride to it, so he gets a ton of swing and misses.
Invisible?
That's
Never heard this term.
Yep, invisible. That's what everyone was calling it last summer, so I'll roll with it here.
Oh, on the I see. There's a 2-1 strike. 83 that time. Just catches that corner.
It is 83, not overwhelming, but that's just dotted low and away.
Yeah, there's not much you can do with that. 4-2 the score with Tupou on second and Schuyler on first. One away here in the home half of the first in a 7-inning game. Runs it to 3-2.
Can't afford to allow another free pass
There's
here.
already been 5 allowed by Teague. Curley looking to avoid a 6th in this inning. He's made 2 appearances, pitched 2 innings, and he's only walked 1 guy, struck out 2. 3-2. Swing and a miss on the high off-speed pitch as there's out number 2.
That's just a effective changeup that stayed up, so that'll fool a hitter because nobody's sitting on an off-speed pitch at the top of the zone, and that's a really big out for Sanford. They needed that.
See what Andrew Bell can do. It's another guy who has not been, or rather, it's had a little bit of a slow start to the year at the plate. The glove, always good when you see him play it short. Quick, shifty guy out there in the infield. Bell, seems like sometimes he's geared up to hit ACC pitching, which is very high velocity. Nice block by Dom Tazi. The talent is absolutely there with Andrew Bell, one of the best players in the state of Colorado coming out of high school, the #1 shortstop in that state.
And to play in this league, you had to have done something good at one point in time.
Absolutely, you got to be a very talented player. Bell is 100% with that talent. 1-0, he fouls one back.
Yeah, the New England League consistently ranked as a top 3 summer league across the entire country. A lot of high talented players, and the cool thing about it is a lot of these teams have New England bases, but it varies team to team. Keene's a team that pulls guys from all over every summer. Sanford has a pretty cool mix, a lot of New England guys, but then you get a lot of guys from around the country.
Right. And then North Adams is very local.
Exactly.
A couple of those teams. Here's the 1-1. Swinging a drive on the breaking ball, and that will be a line out straight to Charlie Jones in left. The Bats score 4 off of 3 walks, and then a Jack Herring grand slam. It's a 2-run ball game. We're through 1 of 7 here in Game 2 at Alumni Field.
Lucky Chicken time, ladies and gentlemen. The SwampBats folding camp chair from Fraser & Son, located in Swansea, south of Keene. Family owned and operated for 75 years, carrying quality furniture for every room of your home. Ticket number 556-8931. 556-8931. Bring that to the swap shop and bring up the folding camp chair. 556-8931.
Back live, the NECBL from Keene, New Hampshire, and we just had John Malone take TJ Schuyler's catcher's mitt and catcher's mask and skull cap and catch a pitch from Skip Shinovsky as he's warming up. Shinovsky, an inning, allowed 2 runs on a homer, 2 hits. But compared to the first inning that the Bats had at the plate, most of those were gifted, but then Herring delivered on that home run.
And I was just going to say, you take that if you're Shinovsky. Seeing your team do that in the bottom of the first gives you a little bit of life on the mound. You feel defeated letting up 2, but knowing that there were no free passes allowed, and Brennan Hudson, who hit his league now tying high 6th home run of the summer. You got beat by a good player, and sometimes you got to tip your cap, but Keene, obviously the big hit from Herring, but 3 of those runs on free passes. You just can't have that if you're the Mainers after the 2-run first.
Yeah, he'll be tied with Sebastian Mexico of Valley of the Blue Sox, and then Matthew Bolton of the Newport Goals at 6 home runs on the year.
And Herring and Hudson now at 6.
Yes.
Really good race.
Wonder who's going to be the home run king this year. Still a lot of baseball left. This is game 30 for Keene, game 29 for Sanford. Here's the righty Shinovsky, first offering to Doohan. It's a foul tip into Skylar Smith for strike one. The SwampBats bat through in the home half of the first. Larger crowd on hand. It's inclusion night here at Alumni Field. Bouncer, foul, right side, 0-2.
Mainers just had their inclusion night.
It's inclusion
a couple
week.
Days ago. It is.
All over the NECBL.
Really cool thing that the league
Excellent
does.
initiative. Baseball is for everybody. We had Pink in the Park night to recognize those survivors and those who are currently fighting or have a relative who's fighting any form of cancer. And the Vermont Mountaineers, there was a parade before the game. Swing and a miss, strike three after the foul tip back into Skylar's glove. There was a parade before the game with everybody who was involved in the event, the SwampBats team, and the Vermont Mountaineers came out of their dugout midway through and joined the parade, took a picture of everybody. It was a great gesture by that organization.
It's a classy move. It
Absolutely.
definitely is. And Keene also does a good job with having these special nights for a lot of their home games, it seems. And
almost every single one. They try to have a sponsor or a theme for every single home game.
That's the way to do it.
Especially in summer ball. Keene in their 28th season of SwampBat baseball. A team with 5 NECBL championships to their name.
Sanford started up not too long after them. Started in 0-2.
It's a league that's been around for a good long while. Here's the 0-1 great pitch by Shinosky. Had Jones way out in front.
It's a nasty breaking ball. Looks like a middle fastball most of the way there, and then it just disappears low and away.
Nothing in two. Shinosky efficient thus far. Misses outside.
We have a cool rest of this game between Hudson and Herring. A mini McGuire Sosa-esque home run race.
Well,
going
without
on.
something that, you know, helped those two guys.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But the overall feel.
The theme of it stays the same. 2-2 to Kyle Dewin, or rather, excuse me, Charlie Jones. The All-Star Week is coming up in just a couple of days, so we'll see who the home run derby champion is, as this is a lazy fly ball that'll get down in center field for a one-out base hit for Charlie Jones.
Yeah, it wasn't barreled up, but that's a perfect example of two-strike hitting from Jones. On the mound, Shinosky went back to that breaking ball low and away. Jones saw it a couple of times, just flipped his bat out there, and I say it a lot, every game, good things happen when you put the ball in play.
Make the defense work behind you. Here's the 8-hole hitter, Zach Kent. No relation to Clark Kent that we know of.
Nothing confirmed at the time.
Yeah, we'll have to ask him, but I don't think he'll tell you.
And how about this 8-9 combo for Sanford with Kent and King, both hitting over 300 coming into this game.
Early on the changeup, 75 that time. And Shinosky, a guy who gets down the mound too, 7 feet on the extension.
Yeah, he's a big guy out there too, just like Teague.
Righty-righty matchup with the runner on first is Charlie Jones. High fly ball right field. Herring will move under it. I'll make the catch for out number 2.
A heavy dose of off-speed pitches to Kent. Also saw a lot to Jones. Another piece of weak contact like Jones had, but this time it hangs up there a little bit. An easy play for Herring.
So much more efficient through these first couple of outs. Keeping the pitch count under 30 pitches to this point. Jones has yet to steal a bag this year. Off speed, shallow fly ball. Moving after it is Romano. He makes a great catch. Looking backwards. What a play from Nick Romano to end the inning. As the Mainers strand one, it's still a 4-2 game as we head to the home half of the second.
At M&T Bank, we believe in the power of together. Together, we can help your business grow. Together, we can move communities forward while giving back. Together, we can help your family spend more time on what matters most. And together, we can achieve more than ever before.
Back at Alumni Field, and let's have another look at that awesome snag by Nick Romano to end the top of the second. A high pop-up from Trey King, and back on, I called off Bell, and looked to me that he looked over to Bell to call him off and then track the ball again.
It was a good play. David Wright-esque.
Yeah.
Just didn't go to the bare hand, used the leather. Still a good play nonetheless.
Are you an immaculate grid player? You ever delve into those?
On and off.
Yeah.
Haven't been doing it every day, unfortunately. Slips my mind sometimes.
I'm a big Wordle guy.
Yep, that's another
My brother
good
and
one.
I are big Wordle guys.
Two great daily games.
Yeah. The New York Times mini crossword, big fan of that too. Hello, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Reed, our camera operator. Ben Rabatin there. There's James Lordeye. Walks right in front of the camera. I like it. First pitch on the way to Marshall Lipsy, lefty-lefty matchup. Good first pitch strike. Fun night at the ballpark that it's been thus far. Just has flown by. Swing and a miss on the curveball, 71. Goodness.
He just flips it in there, and that's why it plays so well off his fastball. Because he can do that, his fastball plays a couple miles an hour higher than it actually is.
Ball and a strike to the lefty, Lipsy. Goes to the off speed again. Soft ground ball, first base side. Hudson, and Lipsy beats the throw. Nice play and great speed from the bat center fielder.
That was trouble off the bat. He just beat the foot of Curley there. Looks like Curley got a good jump over there, but Lipsy has some really good speed, and that also made that play a little tougher because
Nick Lops wants a discussion. Does he think there was interference or something? I don't know. But Nick Lops doesn't seem happy with the call that Robert Strempik made.
I'm not sure what this is about. Maybe he
don't
just
know either.
doesn't agree with it in general, but it's not like timing play is going to be overturned in terms of safer
with no
out
video,
like that.
right? And not happy with that.
It was bang bang over there at first.
It's a tough one.
That's where the old saying goes: speed kills.
Yes. Put any doubt in the umpire's mind that you're going to be safe, it's effective. So another hard swinging lefty is Timon Olfey. Looks at a first pitch strike at 81. Not hard swinging, but hard to get out. What I meant to say. Very hard to get out.
How about that? Only 2 hits for Keene on those 4 runs now, and that one barely reached the infield dirt to Hudson.
In the dirt. Didn't look like Curley looked in towards Tazi until he was moving down the mound.
Just trying to mess with the timing over there from Lipsy. I already saw him steal a bag the first time he was on. That's what you got to do on the mound when you know you have a good runner on. Do anything you can to change up the timing.
Ball and a strike, and they'll throw over. Almost gets away from the first baseman, Hudson.
And that's not Curley's A-plus move over to first. And sometimes those are the hardest because when you're not going to let it rip, when you slow up a little, you're not used to throwing with less than 100% intent if you're a pitcher. So that's why it'll just kind of slip out of the hand sometimes.
Strike 2 to Manolfi. Romano waiting in the wings on deck for the SwampBats. One and 2 to Timon Olfey, the former Dayton Flyer. Just misses low. A great take on the off speed.
It's a good pitch from Curley, but mentioned an answer. Just a better take from Manolfi. One with the off speed, low and away. Going to get Manolfi to bite. You don't want to allow another free pass here.
Free passes have troubled Sanford today. That one misses away. It's now 3-2, another full count.
Obviously, the Mainers pitching so far with those walks haven't had the perfect command, but you also got to credit Keene in that sense for seeing the strike zone really well.
Runner goes on 3-2. Gonna be safe at second, picked up by King. Throw to first. It gets away from the first baseman, Hudson. It'll stay in play. Manolfi goes to second. Lipsy to third. Still none away.
We'll see if that's a single and an error to allow the runners to advance. Could have been a double play ball off the bat. Would have been close with Manolfi's speed,
I
but
think that's gonna be a throwing error on the shortstop, King.
that was a tough play ranging in for King. Just slipped under Hudson's glove, and that really hurts for Sanford right now. Back-to-back innings with multiple runners in scoring position and no outs for Keene.
It's a recipe for disaster. We've seen it with a couple of times for Keene early in games as well. As Nick Romano stands in now from the right side of the plate as a switch hitter. Offers it the first pitch. It's a good pitch to swing at too. So here's the official scoring decision. Manolfi has a single, but the error moves him over to second and moves Lipsy over to third.
That's what I thought it was
Yep.
going to be at first. That's a tough play for King.
So 2 in scoring position for Romano, who looks at strike 2 and 0-2 count. Saw him work back from one of those in the first when Teague was on the bump for Sanford.
So it'd be a big time for a strikeout for Curley on the mound. If those 2 runners out there, most forms of contact is going to get at least 1 run home, so you want to go with some swing and miss stuff. 0-2.
Nothing in 2. Swing and a miss. There it is. Second strikeout of the day for TJ Curley, and there's 1 away.
There's that invisible again from Curley. The fastball, it just plays so well off of the breaker, and he can throw it to both sides of the plate. That's why you see so many swings and misses, even though it's not overpowering velocity.
So it'll bring up Jack Herring, who already has 4 runs batted in on a grand slam. And now again from the other side of the plate. Herring has been solid on both sides this year. That in the dirt, good block by Tazi again.
It's so impressive being that good of a hitter from both sides of the plate at such a high level of baseball. This is elite college baseball. And we've mentioned it before with Keene games because of the mass amount of switch hitters. It's unbelievable how good guys can be at both sides of the plate.
The consistency. Ripken Reese is on the bench for this game, but that means Keene only has 2 in the lineup. Only 2.
I bet there hasn't been a team with 2 switch hitters in the lineup at any point this year in the NECBL besides the SwampBats.
Two balls, no strikes to the 4-hole hitter Jack Herring, who's either been in that leadoff spot or the 4-hole a lot this year. It's 2-1. It's a good pitch right on the corner.
It's another situation where you want to get a strikeout. 2 runners in scoring position. Again, same spot as no outs. Most forms of contact will get a run, and you need your really good stuff if you're TJ here.
2-1 is a strike. And Herring has work to do after jumping out ahead 2-0.
Saw multiple situations with TJ last year where he would come in, runners in scoring position, sometimes bases loaded, no outs, and there was a plethora of times where he would work out of that with allowing no runs.
Herring looking to stay hot at the plate. Heads up down there, watch out. I think everybody's okay. Yeah, everybody's good. Everybody's happy down there. Somebody's got a free baseball.
I think there was a good swat by the guy in the red shirt down there.
Yes, he did a tremendous job to kind of take some speed off that. Took one for the team, so to speak. So a 2-2 to Herring with 1 away. Here's Curley. Swing and a miss. Got 2 punch outs now in this inning. 3 on the day.
There it is, the fastball again, and they just threw him out.
They did what?
They just tossed Herring.
Are you kidding? What did he do?
I think he was complaining about something. Must have been a strike call previously in the at-bat.
And Coach McKenna is going to go over and ask for some explanation. I've never seen that. Wow.
Curtis Dugard behind the plate told
that was
Herring.
quick.
He told Herring to knock it off, I think, at first, and Herring must have said something else, and then he ran him right away. He was having none of Herring.
Well, the thought is now that, I mean, Herring, if Herring goes, then maybe McKenna's got to go too, right?
I don't know if
that's how it
that's
goes in the
rule.
major. No, I mean, doesn't have to.
Oh, right
but
here, you're saying.
Right.
It doesn't look like McKenna's
know.
irate or anything at the moment, but he is starting to get a little upset, it looks like. So he's heading towards the dugout too. He's still talking to Dugar.
And now McKenna's been given a warning.
He's still
McKenna
heading back
says
to the...
he didn't say anything about balls and strikes.
Might have been a warning issue to the team after the ejection. Surprised he's going to the dugout right now because you don't have to make a change because Herring was out.
I mean, what did Herring say that was so bad?
I couldn't hear him from here, but
McKenna's going to go back out and head to his...
Not very happy with Dugar still, and now
he got warned, yeah.
He double-checked to make sure he has a warning. He's laughing about it.
He can't believe it.
So how about that? So Herring will have himself an off day tomorrow.
Wow.
And they're going to have to wait. I'm not sure if they're going to officially wait, but they usually wait for Herring to leave the ballpark.
I can't believe that.
Looks like he's trying to get changed before he heads out. Already has the belt off in the dugout.
Well, there's a first for everything. I've not seen a player get ejected from a game. I can't believe that. There was one that seemed like it was a little off the plate. So maybe Herring had something to say about that, but that's really early in a game to toss a guy out.
He must have been on him, and umpires usually aren't going to take it there again and again on balls and strikes, arguments like that. So it looked like Dugar gave him a chance to be like, all right, you got to knock it off when he was walking back to the dugout. And I think Herring snapped back, said something else. So Dugar stuck to his word and just ran him.
He's trying to take control of the game anyway. Guess who knows who will come in for him. Perez is not available today. That means probably Gabe Pitts is going to come into the game. There's a called strike right down the plate to Michael O'Brien. So what a day, interesting day for Herring. Hits a grand slam in the first, gets ejected in the second.
That's how it goes sometimes. But back to the field right now. How about TJ Curley with back-to-back strikeouts and the bases, not bases loaded, second and third with no outs.
Swing and a miss on O'Brien. So a wacky inning. I don't know who's going to come in to replace Herring as the defensive substitution as he got ejected.
He's gone to that fastball for the 2 strikeouts so far.
That one misses outside. Runners on second and third, and that's called strike 3. That one catches the heart of the plate. As the Bats score none, they strand 2, and Jack Herring gets ejected from the game. Well, we'll see who comes in to replace him in the top of the third when we come back.
Already, SwampBat fans, we have one of the new games tonight, the Wiffle Ball Toss to Ribby. We got 5 fantastic competitors here. We got Emmett, Levi, Orion, Violet, and Landon. You guys know the rules? All right. When I say go, you throw to Ribby. On your mark, get set, go. Here we go. It looks like Orion took it. Great job, guys.
Good pitch, Emmett.
So looks like Gabe Pitts will be a defensive substitution. He's going to come in and play right field. So it's a 4-2 game. Keene still has the lead, and Skip Shinosky is back out for another inning of work. He was very efficient in the second. And Bats still lead by 2. And Pitt's probably a good choice to put over there in right. A lot of speed, a lot of ground to cover there in right with the dimensions of the ballpark.
You saw him in game 1. He's going to have to last the rest of this game. And just how about TJ Curley last inning? Runners on 2nd and 3rd with no outs. The heart of the Bats order up 3-4-5, 2 strikeouts swinging, and then he strikes out O'Brien looking to wiggle out of that one. If Sanford comes back to win this game, you're going to have to point to that exact moment.
Big time moment. So Herring, who was thrown out of the game in the 2nd after he struck out, that means he's ineligible for tomorrow's game at Mystic.
Catch it on the NECBL network.
Yes, it will be. So we'll return to normalcy, top of the lineup, as Sensei grounds one into the dirt. Just kind of stuck there. Nothing to 1. Shanoski's been great today. Aside from that one home run, the first he's given up all year, one little mistake pitch.
It was one mistake, and there have been 2 singles besides the home run, and they were both softly hit.
That one misses a little low and away. 87 on the fastball that time from Shanoski.
Trying to see how Sanford uses that TJ Curley fuel on the other side of the baseball here.
3 straight strikeouts, how about that? Swing and a foul tip, it looked like.
I talked about it with Curley last year. He would come into these big jams and just get strikeout after strikeout after strikeout to get after them.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Sensei, who lined out to center on the first at-bat of the game, and now he'll strike out. K number 2 on the day for Skip Shanoski.
It's just a good heater from Shanoski. Up in the zone, a tough one for Sensei to get to, and he continues to roll since that 2-run homer.
How about Luke Jenkins? This is the part of the order that gave Shanoski trouble in the first. Jenkins got the first hit of the day on a single to left field. Left center field, and then Toomey flew out to left, and that homer from Hudson went off the barn. And right there is the first pitch strike. Shanoski going right at these Sanford hitters.
Expect Jenkins to just see it deep at the plate and just try to work something to left field. Had that seeing eye ground ball between 3rd and short last time up.
Liner, that'll get down in front of Marshall Lipsy. So another 1-out single for Luke Jenkins, just as it was in the first.
Well, he's making me look good when I talk about him going backside every time he comes to the plate.
Yeah.
3rd hit of the afternoon here at Alumni Field when you go back to last game.
This top of the order for Sanford has been deadly today.
Toomey's fly out in the first almost left the yard. A lot of people here thought it was out off the bat.
Yeah, right to the corner of the ballpark, and he jumps on the first pitch, but just misses.
Yeah, that off speed he's thrown in the mid-70s. It's just been floating a little bit at the top of the zone, and it floats so much where it's kind of fooled hitters a little bit, and that's what you saw Toomey there. Just a little trouble getting to it as it was floating up there. He's able to foul it off.
0-1 count to Toomey, righty-righty matchup. That one misses away. Now, if Jenkins overstays his welcome at first, I would not be shocked if we see Skyler attempt to throw behind the runner.
He's got a really good arm from behind the dish.
Fantastic, one of the best in the league. 1-1, off speed in the dirt. Two balls, 1 strike to Toomey, who waves at a changeup. That time at 77. Even at 2 now. And Jackson, with this center of the lineup, how important is it for them to get to Shanoski in this inning like they did in the first? That one gets away from Skyler, and that will advance Jenkins to at least 2nd, and he'll stay there.
So that'll help right there.
Yes, it will.
Still have Toomey at the plate, but this is a big swing out right now. You have Brennan Hudson on deck. We've already seen what he can do. You don't want Toomey to get on base right here and have Hudson come up with only 1 out and 2 runners on. You want to put Toomey away and only 1 out away after that from getting out of the inning.
High leverage moment already early in this 7-inning contest. Payoff pitch from Shanoski. High, ball 4. 2 on, 1 out. This is what Sanford wanted after the first, and after the momentum they gained with those 3 straight strikeouts to end the second.
Got to be careful here. Hudson has some confidence strolling to the plate.
He's already homered once today.
Does all of his damage to right field, so completely opposite from the other lefty bats in Jenkins and Strohmeyer. Hudson is just a heavy pull guy.
He's homered twice at this ballpark today. Waves takes a big hack at the first one. That was at the low part of the zone.
And that pitch is called Remembering Where Hudson Hurt You Last Time. It was a center cut fastball that he belted out of here. Goes to the soft stuff downstairs.
Looks like they're going to get Andrew Lapine up and moving in the SwampBats bullpen. That one runs inside. Start moving around. He'll probably be the first arm out of the pen. Hasn't pitched in a couple of days.
Once again, we're kind of in the middle innings here, too, only playing 7.
That
so
we are.
It just adds to how much bigger this moment is.
This is a little low. 2-1.
Got to be careful to not leave him a good fastball to hit here.
Can do some damage. 2-1. That one well outside. Shinosky, a guy who has struggled with walks, more walks than strikeouts this year, would like to avoid that this time around, and Coach Sean McKenna is going to go out to talk to him. This won't be, well, this may be a pitching change. We'll see if they motion over. I don't think they will.
Could be one of those moments where
just giving him time to warm up and settle down Shinosky.
Could be a visit. Sometimes you'll see the visit used to kill some time, let him warm up in the bullpen, then you let him get the batter, or sometimes you even see the discussion go on a while at the mound, and when the umpire comes to break it up, then you make the pitching change.
Right.
So see what McKenna does here.
Remember, they just started warming Lapine. It doesn't look like he's throwing with full intent down there in the bullpen, so I think this is just going to be a regular mound visit.
Now I was talking about it. You don't want to leave him a fastball 2-1. He didn't, but it was a ball away. So now what do you do here in the 3-1 count? It's going to be a really tough decision.
So 3-1 to the 4-hole hitter Hudson. Big moment here early in this game. That's a strike.
And that was the off-speed upstairs. That's a dangerous pitch, but it works out. So now, really big payoff pitch here.
Where do you think he goes?
I would go back to the soft stuff.
See what Shinosky decides. Payoff pitch with 2 runners on. Called, strike 3, down he goes. Great pitch from Shinosky, just catches the bottom half of the zone. And there's 2 away here in the 3rd.
That's a big time pitch in a full count. Trusted the heater, and he threw one right there around the knees that was called for a ball just low. Stayed the course, and good things happen when you keep it around the zone. You're gonna get borderline pitches sometimes, and that's just dotted bottom of the zone, and still not out of it yet. You got another good bat here, but that really helps getting that second out.
Let's see what Dom Tazi has here. Righty-righty matchup. He grounded off of Shinosky's shoe, then to Andrew Bell, then to Tupou at first his last time up. He swings at the first pitch. Big hack.
Yeah, that one was 101, not the foul ball, the one in his first at-bat off of Shinosky's shoe. So good to see that Shinosky's all right.
Well, yeah,
after
I think it hit the heart, maybe
that.
the bottom of it. Little soccer assist over there. I don't know if Shinosky ever played soccer. 0-1. Foul tip again. That's a good pitch to swing at.
It was, but when you go to the off-speed, you keep the hitters off balance, and Tazi just wasn't ready for it.
It's effective to disrupt the hitter's timing. Now he has a plethora of options available with 0-2, 2 away. Top half of the 3rd. Grounder up the middle. Bell will field and make the underhand throw to Manolfi to end the inning. As the Mainers strand 2. Bats still by 2. It's 4-2. As we head to the home half of the 3rd, Chandler Tupou, TJ Schuyler, and Aiden Harris due up on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere, folks.
What I'm looking for in a bank is one that's looking out for me, like NBT. I want a relationship and a team that supports me and my dreams, like NBT. And let's face it, life can get challenging. I need a bank that's focused on me. They've been rated tops in all the things that matter, like trust, customer service, and financial advice. So when I need a bank I can trust, it's always NBT and me.
Rondé Barber here. Being in the NFL for 16 years, I've dealt with my fair share of bumps and bruises. But typical ice packs never stayed cold long enough, were messy and inconvenient. HurtSkirt offers the same long-lasting treatment as ice does, but without the hassle. HurtSkirt uses no antifreeze chemicals, ensuring that panels freeze solid and stay colder for longer. Drop the ice, skirt the hurt. Use code BARBER20 for 20% off and free shipping at hurtskirt.com.
Lights are on. Beautiful sunset here at Alumni Field. New pitcher for the Sanford Mainers. It's Connor Griffin, the 6'6" righty out of Binghamton.
Griffin, also a second-year Mainer like TJ Curley. This is his 6th appearance of the summer, 5 2/3 so far, 11 strikeouts. Walks are a little high with 8. Has allowed 4 hits, coming off a good scoreless outing on the 4th of July against Ocean State. An inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. So look for him to build off of that here. He's a guy that pitched here last summer too, so he's familiar with the park, and just like Curley, he inherits a really big spot for this Mainers pitching staff.
First one off to deal with is the left-handed first baseman Chandler Tupou. And a hard-throwing right-hander at that, touching 94 in his warm-ups here.
Yeah, he'll get up to 96, an occasional 97 as well.
Wow. This might be fun to watch here.
He can really bring it out there. He's a guy that has always brought it. Mid-9s last year too. He's gained a couple of miles per hour on the fastball. He has also improved his breaking ball too from last summer, and that's been effective a couple of outings this summer.
So we'll see what Tupou has in store, and as we mentioned in our first broadcast today, Tupou drove in 3 runs last night. He had 3 singles, 3 for 6 in a very long game that made everybody here a little tired, but you would be surprised at the amount of SwampBat fans that stayed till the very end of that game, and they were rewarded for it.
Helps out that it was a fairly close, high-scoring game too.
Back and forth all the time. The Mountaineers dominated the middle innings, and then Keene surged back like they have so many times this year. First pitch to Tupou in the dirt. Great pick by Tossi. Maybe making Curtis Dugar flinch a little bit there.
Yeah, that one at 95, so I would be scared behind the plate too, seeing it come in the dirt.
Do you remember in like T-ball when the umpire, if there was an umpire, not in T-ball, but like Little League, where you'd stand behind the mound?
Yeah, that would even happen a couple
I think I'd have to do that with 95 kind of happening.
I would too.
I
would be in center field at that point.
Yeah, right. I'd either have to do that or wear like a bomb suit to get behind the plate.
It's called trusting your catcher, though, if you're Dugar.
Yeah, right. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swing and a miss. Off-speed pitch, like you mentioned.
It's that curveball at 85 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's not too bad, huh?
That'll work. Griffin got some time in the NCAA regionals this year against Oklahoma State. That was played at Georgia.
Called strike 3. Down goes Tupou by way of the K. That one catches a big part of the plate and just froze him on the breaker.
Yeah, backdoor off-speed, nasty stuff, especially to that lefty bat in Tupou. This is a hard guy to hit when you haven't seen him before.
Big time. Final stat line for TJ Curley. Inning in 2/3, 2 hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts. Not too shabby.
Just him striking 3 consecutive batters out with runners in scoring position is monumental. This could be a 4-run game possibly without that.
Swing and miss from Skyler, who's been really solid at the plate as of late after a slow start to 2025 in the summer. DJ doing the catching tonight. 0-1. Fouls off a breaking ball. Now he can maybe go back to that heater.
Yeah, another good off-speed from Griffin there. He's tunneling that really well with his fastball, and just so much velocity up there. He's a big guy and used to be a 2-way his freshman year at Binghamton. And last year, the Mainers staff would get to hit BP on the field if they had a shutout. Griffin stepped up to hit and was hitting balls to spots out of Goodall Park that I've never seen leave the park before, with full-time position player is unable to do that. He just generates so much speed on the mound and can obviously swing it a little bit too.
Really wide base in his windup. Kicks and deals the 0-2. Called strike 3, down goes Skyler.
That's just pure filth right there on the
just catches
mound.
the black. That's a great pitch.
Back-to-back strikeouts on off-speed pitches, and to see that that's on tonight is huge for Sanford right now to try to stay in this game.
They're very much in it. Still a lot left. We're just about halfway through. We're almost halfway through. First pitch to Aiden Harris just misses off the inside half. It's a great take from Harris.
That time that one just backed up a little bit out of Connor's hand. Didn't get down and through it. Still not that bad of a pitch.
5 strikeouts in a row for the SwampBats. They need to get something going. High fastball blew it right by Harris at 96 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's two completely different pitchers that have been getting the strikeouts too. Curley, a touch and feel lefty, and then Griffin, a flamethrower righty.
There's the 1-1. Late on the fastball again, that time 95. Just got a piece, but fouled it back.
What I would have done to throw 95 miles an hour like Connor out there.
They have to have a UCL made of titanium. Goes with the off speed, just misses in.
Put it this way, I never loved pitching at Alumni Field when the radar gun was on, but it was a good feeling when you got good results.
Right. Maybe a humbling experience.
A little bit sometimes, yeah.
As long as you were getting outs, that's all that matters.
That's what baseball is, collecting outs.
Deuce is wild for Harris. Griffin kicks, deals. Appeal down to Strempick at first. Harris barely checks his swing.
That was close, but that was definitely the right call.
I agree. 95 in the dirt. It's even tough to lay off of that and stop the hands. So we'll see if Harris can work a walk. Knows he's going to get a pitch here. Payoff pitch with 2 away. Here it comes. Appeal down to first. He held from going around on the breaking ball. 2 great takes from Harris. And there's a 2-out walk.
First he laid off the 2-strike fastball and then the 2-strike breaking ball. That was a really good pitch from Griffin.
Fantastic.
Just missed outside, and how Harris was able to hold up, I don't know, but that's big to get a 2-out base runner and stop that strikeout streak.
It's the first walk he's drawn of the season. Had 7 strikeouts before drawing his first walk, and now we'll see what he can do on the base paths today. Andrew Bell as the 9-hitter. Looks at 95, catches the corner. After 5 strikeouts in a row, the walk streak, or the K streak, gets broken. 0-1 off speed, misses maybe just a little bit inside. It's a good pitch. The righty swings at it, it's gonna saw him off.
You're gonna need a new bat, definitely, and it's a good job to take that. That's really borderline. Could have gone either way.
Yep. Ball and a strike with Harris at first. In the dirt. That one kicks away from Tazi, and Harris will take second on the wild pitch.
And talk about it. Early in the inning walks hurt you, and late in the inning walks hurt you. Still not hurt yet, but now a man in scoring position after a walk and a wild pitch.
It's just,
you want to limit it right there.
And when you think about giving a team life, not even in late in a game, but just late in an inning, or only in the third here. But with baseball, when there's small instances of things, they can be applied to larger scales as well. It's the same situation that we would see if you're looking at the whole scope of the game.
I want to see Griffin attack with a fastball here.
It's probably his plan if it were my guess. If I could throw 96, I'd be throwing a fastball every time. 2-1 to Bell. Goes with the fastball, and that will miss low. Maybe an exaggeration. I don't think I'd throw it, but I'd like throwing it.
It also helps when he's been rattling off mid-8 sliders, too, so.
Yeah, it's big league stuff.
But now it's 3-1 here. Top of the order's looming on deck.
Yep, Lipsy in the on-deck circle. 3-1, 2 away. Ground ball, right side. Kent ranges over, fields it on a hop, flicks to first, out number 3. Good play to end the inning for the Mainers on the defensive side. I'll hand it over to Jackson Walsh on the other side of this break. Bats still lead 4-2 as we head to the top of the 4th in a 7-inning contest.
SwampBats fans, tonight's Brushing the Bases is brought to you by Spoonwood Dental. Let's give Libby and Kendra a big hand. Like a nice set of teeth, bases need to be thoroughly brushed at least twice a day. Thanks to Spoonwood Dental, Ruby brushes every day to keep his big smile looking great for all his pictures. Just like Ruby, make sure to visit Spoonwood Dental for all of your dental needs. And fans, the concession stand will be closing in 1 inning. You have till the end of the 5th inning to visit the concession stand. Lunch and ticket time for a $25 gift certificate to Birdie's Restaurant on Main Street in Keene. Ticket number 412-504. 412-504.
Back here at Alumni Field, top of the 4th inning, the SwampBats have a 4-2 lead. We'll send it down to the field to Ryan Fitzpatrick. What do you got for us, Ryan?
Thanks, guys. And if some fans don't know, it's Inclusion Night here at Alumni Field. And what that is Inclusion Week is a league-wide initiative to support individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. These type of nights involve activities, recognition of individuals and organizations, and opportunities for connection and understanding. At Alumni Field, we had the opportunity not only to have the fans come out today, but they had a chance to participate in a parade as players, coaches, and interns had a chance to be involved in, as well as they had a chance to go around the field. Gentlemen, sometimes it's bigger than baseball. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Ryan. Inclusion Week, definitely one of the best things that the NECBL does. Keene has theirs tonight, obviously. Kyle Dewan steps in to face Shanoski. The count's 0-1. Dewan sends this one out to right center. Lipsy there, he lays out to make the catch.
What a catch, Marshall Lipsy. How about it?
That's a big first out for the SwampBats. Lipsy steals possibly extra bases from Dewan.
I think absolutely. 77 off the bat. He had to go further than I think he initially anticipated to go grab that ball, and another highlight play from Marshall Lipsy. How about that? Fun guy to watch patrol the outfield.
Now there's one down in the top of the 4th. Charlie Jones comes to the plate. Jones had a single his first at bat. Came into this game batting a little over 200, but that has been ticking upwards ever so slightly. 11 RBIs on the summer. First pitch from Shanoski. Breaking ball lined, and that's the second hit of the night for Charlie Jones. The single to left, and Jones is on with one out.
It didn't look like Jones rushed himself there, and that's really encouraging to see for him. 2 hits already. He's seeing Shanoski well. And that's a great thing to see. It seemed like he slowed his hands down, maybe anticipating the fastball, but was able to still pull the ball and get good wood on it.
It's just good reaction from Jones. The Georgia Bulldog. That brings up the Binghamton Bearcat. Zach Kent, the second baseman. Kent flew out to right his first time up. Shanoski comes home, and the fastball will miss up and away for ball 1. Kent was Binghamton's everyday second baseman, champions of the America East. Just saw his college teammate Connor Griffin have a scoreless third inning. The breaking ball on the ground, a chance for 2. Bell to Manolfi, over to first, in time. An inning-ending double play as Shanoski faces the minimum in the 4th. We'll head to the bottom half of the inning. Keene leads by 2.
What makes a great team hat? It starts with a Z. For decades, Zephyr has been making the most iconic headwear in the game, trusted by teams, colleges, and pros. We cut out the middlemen and work directly with our manufacturers, so you get top quality, fast turnaround, and prices that make sense. From bold designs to unbeatable fit, Zephyr hats are built to match the quality of your team, right down to the last stitch. Zephyr Team Headwear, born from experience, built for teams that stand out.
Back here in Keene, New Hampshire, as we head to the bottom of the fourth inning, a big matchup in the North Division between the Keene SwampBats and the Sanford Mainers. Sanford comes into this one 4.5 games back of Keene after taking the first of 2 today. And a new arm on the mound for the Mainers. It's somebody who's familiar to the city of Keene. It's Keene State's own David Floyd. Floyd actually started against these SwampBats his last time out. It didn't go too well for Floyd, just a 1-inning start with 2 earned runs, 13 innings on the summer and a 6.9 ERA for the righty out of North Attleboro, Massachusetts.
Well, he won't have to face the guy who hit a leadoff shot off of him in the bottom of the first on Independence Eve, Jack Herring, because Jack Herring has been ejected from this game. But yeah, an inning only for Floyd. Is the plan, do you think, for him to go more than an inning today? Or they just want to...
I think it all depends on how well Floyd does out there. He's a guy that does have some length. His longest appearance of the summer was a 4-inning start against Danbury. That was back on June 24th.
Got hit around a little bit, but only allowed 3 runs.
And the Sanford Mainers pitching staff has only allowed 3 hits tonight, but 4 runs on a grand slam in the first from Jack Herring, who is no longer a member of this baseball game.
So that means Gabe Pitts, for the first time this year, is going to be hitting in the 4 slot.
Top of the order at the plate for Keene as Marshall Lipsey comes in. He's 1 for 1 tonight, a walk and an infield single. That was a chopper over to first. Hudson flipped it on to the pitcher Curley, but not in time to beat the speedy Lipsey. See Floyd there with his red Keene State Owls glove to the plate. And that'll miss for ball 1. It's a guy that has some good velocity for a Division III arm. At fastball at 92.
What do you see usually? You played D3 college ball. What was the average for guys at that level?
Not a lot of parks have radars, and we don't have TrackMan at all, so it's tough to say, but average fastball probably that 85 to 87 range, but that's where you see a lot of true pitchers who have really good off-speed pitches.
And good finesse stuff, great control.
To the plate, and that's outside.
Shades of the first inning here.
Not what you want if you're Sanford. Mainers pitching has allowed 6 walks. 5 of them were from the starter, Nathan Teague. The 3-0 swung on, line to second, and Kent's there to make the play. So 3-0 swinging was Lipsey, and he helps Floyd out. There's 1 down in the 4th.
Honestly, I don't mind the play from Lipsey swinging on that 3-0 count. Keene only has 3 hits in this ball game, where while they have 4 runs, they need to get some more production on the base pass outside of the free passes that they've been given. So I like the decision to try and attack. He got a good pitch to hit, just maybe missed it a little bit.
Manolfi to the plate, comes into this game batting over 400. And the first pitch, he definitely went around, and yes, he did, said Matt Wetmore.
Yeah, it was, we got a good angle looking at it up here, but yeah, that was pretty clear. Manolfi 1 for 1 with a single and a walk. He's scored once and got left on second.
That single from Manolfi didn't leave the infield, but it'll help the average go up. The 0-1, chopped to second. Easy play for Kent, and there's 2 quick outs in the 4th.
They are speeding along here in these middle innings.
That's what Floyd does when he's on. He gets ground balls. So 2 outs, and that'll bring up Nick Romano. He struck out swinging his last time to the plate, and that was the start of 5 consecutive strikeouts for Keene SwampBats, including 3 strikeouts to end the inning in the 2nd. What a job by TJ Curley to hold the Bats scoreless all the way back in the 2nd.
I think they might want to avoid that this time around if they can.
Romano, the 3rd baseman out of FAU. First at bat, he walked and then was on first base to watch Jack Herring's grand slam leave the park. First pitch from Floyd. Swung on and missed for strike one.
Again, just going after it. 93, that fastball, and Romano, who has some power, but has been off and on when it comes to hitting the ball on the screws.
Floyd dealt with some back injuries at Keene this year. Took about a month off as the 0-1 comes in. That one cut on and missed for strike two.
Yeah, sitting fastball there. Now he's got to work pretty hard. Got deep into the count in the first when he drew that third consecutive walk to start the ball game. But neither team has scored since.
Floyd's 0-2. Breaking ball will miss outside for ball one. Floyd made one start in late February and then didn't appear for another game until late March. Got some starts and some relief appearances for the LEC champions, Keene State Owls. That one skips in there, and that actually got the foot of Romano. So the breaking ball catches his cleat, and the Bats have a base runner on in the fourth.
7th 3 pass of the day, 6 walks, and now 1 hit by pitch.
That brings up Gabe Pitts for the first time tonight. We mentioned it. Jack Herring was ejected when he struck out back in the second inning. So Pitts came into right field to replace him and gets his first at-bat here in the fourth.
Pitts is going to be ready for this. He's got speed, but 2 outs. He's got to get something through.
Floyd comes home. Pitts shows bunt, but takes it for strike one.
And I don't dislike that decision either, because Pitts, if he lays down a good bunt, Romano probably gets a good jump, and everybody has a solid chance to be safe all around, and then you got 2 on with 2 away.
Sensei at third, playing right at the edge of the infield grass. The 0-1, breaking ball on the ground towards third, going to be a tough play. Sensei fields it in fair territory. The throw is high. It looked like Pitts would have been safe anyway. So it's an infield single for Pitts and back-to-back base runners for Keene with 2 outs.
Like I said, the speed of Pitts is such a weapon. Any ball that gets put into play, he's got a chance to beat it out. We'll have a look at it. High chopper, so he had a big head start. And a tough throw pulled the first baseman Hudson off the bag, and we'll have a little mound meeting there. But I'm interested to see how they score that. It'll be a single. I think that's the right choice.
So Floyd got 2 outs on just 6 pitches. And then he hit Nick Romano in the foot with a breaking ball. And then a weakly hit ball down the third base line stayed fair for Gabe Pitts. And he'll reach on an infield single, so Michael O'Brien comes to the plate. 0 for 2 tonight. Popped up to short, struck out looking. Floyd kicks and fires. That's inside for ball one.
Just off that corner, O'Brien, a guy who stands pretty middle in the lefty batter's box, made his return to the SwampBats lineup last night as a DH against Vermont.
The 1-0. That's fouled off. The count's 1-1 to O'Brien.
Nice play by Ripken Reese over there. Barehanded, makes the snag.
Always ready to go.
Oh, you know it.
Nick Romano leads off of second. Gabe Pitts off of first. Batter is Michael O'Brien. Floyd's 1-1. Breaking ball. You could see it. It wasn't going to be there out of the hand, and the count's 2-1.
Doesn't look like there's anybody warming for Sanford. Goal is for Floyd to get through this inning, and then we'll see if they leave him out for a second.
His shortest appearance all summer was that start against Keene on July 3rd, just that 1 inning. The 2-1, foul back over our head, and the count's 2-2.
Brian with 1 homer on the year. He blasted a no-doubter earlier in June that hit the top of the red barn in right field. Almost crushed. I think it was in the first game that Keene played against North Adams here at home, if I remember correctly.
Big spot here, 2-2, 2 outs and 2 runners on in the bottom of the fourth. That's in the dirt. Tozzi keeps it in front, and the count goes full to O'Brien.
So the runners will be going, and that might distract Tozzi a little bit, but he'll have to stay focused. And so will O'Brien with a lot of movement in the infield.
It looked like Keene was Gonna go down quietly this inning. Not the case. Trying to string together a 2-out rally.
We would want Pitts to be the lead runner in a perfect world here, so if the ball gets put in play, he can round third and head for home, but Romano will probably do the same.
Payoff pitch lined up the middle. That's through for a base hit. Romano will come home. Pitch to third. It's a 2-out RBI single for Michael O'Brien, and the SwampBats lead is now 5-2.
What a job by O'Brien. Big time pitch, payoff, runners moving, and Romano comes home to score. That is huge for O'Brien. The scoreless streak of innings has been broken, and we're here in the bottom of the fourth. That one just laser right back up the middle. Good effort by King, but just snuck under his glove. 96 off the barrel. It's been a while since we've seen O'Brien get a pitch to hit like that, and he did not miss it.
What a 2-out rally from the SwampBats. It all started with Nick Romano being hit by a pitch. In the innings, not over yet. Runners on the corners with Chandler Tupou at the plate. Tupou's 0 for 1 with a walk, and he struck out looking to Connor Griffin. First pitch, that catches the top of the zone for strike one.
Tupou, a guy that when you look at it, sometimes those inside strikes are like, whoa, that's really inside. But Tupou likes to stand close to the plate, so likes to see it a little closer.
Floyd's 0-1, runner on the move. Breaking ball is outside, and no contest at second base as O'Brien's in there.
Now, did they keep defensive indifference as an official stat?
I haven't really seen it anywhere.
I've only seen it, I think, once.
That's how that one will be ruled, as there was no throw down. So now 2 runners in scoring position.
I assume it would be.
The 1-1 to Tupou's in the dirt. And
great pick.
What a job from Tazi. He didn't go down to block. It just banked on himself, picking it cleanly, and he did. So the count's now 2-1 to Tupou. This inning started with 2 outs and nobody on base before Keene had a hit by pitch, an infield single, and then a line drive to the outfield from Michael O'Brien, who now leads off of second. The 2-1, that runs inside, it gets to the backstop, and it's another run as Bell comes home. Excuse me, Pitts comes home.
Well, just got away from Tazi. It was a spiked pitch, and not much that he can do. Pitts just jogged right on home. Didn't need to use all his speed there, but yes, a 2-out rally, like you said. They've been shown to have the ability to do that a couple of times this year, and this time no different.
So O'Brien moves up to third, and the count's 3-1 to Tupou. Fastball cut on and missed, and the count's full. See that pitch count up to 23 now for Floyd. Got the first 2 outs in just 6 pitches. Tupou at the plate, the first baseman out of Charleston Southern. Going up against David Floyd out of Keene State College. The 3-2. That's fouled back, ouch, and that got all of Curtis Dugar.
Oh, dear. Ouch. That's not where you want to get hit.
Clean
ouch.
Off the bat.
I don't know if it hit him in the hand or the other spot where you don't want to get hit. Ouch. Gosh, we hope he's okay.
So we'll have a trainer check on him, and Sean McKenna is also out there with the rest of the crew. That just got the bat of Tupou.
Yep,
didn't
redirected
get any part of Tazi, and then Dugar caught it flush.
Ouch.
See O'Brien there off of third.
Get up, that's good.
He helps keep this inning alive with a big 2-out single to score a run. Curtis Dugar on his feet. The crowd gives him a round of applause.
Ouch. You and I can sympathize with that sort of pain, man. That is not fun. He'll get some water. Hopefully he's all right. Maybe this is a good reset for Floyd.
Who knows at this point? It's been all Keene here in this inning. 2 runs. Mentioned it before, all of them coming with 2 outs. As Curtis Dugar's laughing it off, has some water back behind the plate, should be ready to go shortly.
Oof, just shaking it off a little bit. Wow. Not a fun spot for Dugar. He's going to down that water bottle. Can't blame him.
They'll give him all the time he needs. He's the one running the ball game anyways, so we're on his time. David Floyd on the mound trying to get out of this tough 4th inning. Keene with 6 runs so far, 4 in the bottom of the first on 3 walks and then a grand slam from Herring. And then with 2 more here in the 4th to take a 6-2 lead.
And shake it off for a little bit. Make sure he's still good to go. I doubt they'll change anything.
Hope he gives this guys.
Yep, he's all good. All right.
Some fist bumps and we're ready to go.
There you go, Curtis.
We're going to come back with a full count.
Gonna be a trooper. Ouch.
So it's a full count to Tupou after the brief delay. Glad to see that Curtis Dugar is all right. Runner on third base is O'Brien after Gabe Pitts came home on a wild pitch.
Still a payoff. How about this?
Pick it up on the 3-2 to Tupou. And that's outside. It's a full count walk. The second free pass of the inning allowed from Floyd, and that puts runners on the corners once again.
You wonder if that pause in the game maybe threw off Floyd a little bit. 2 consecutive singles and then a walk. That brings up TJ Schuyler. We'll see what he's got.
Nobody throwing yet in the Mainers bullpen, so this is still Floyd's inning. Schuyler at the plate, 0 for 1. Walked in the first, struck out looking in the third.
Sanford already on their 4th pitcher. Yes, it's a 7th inning game, but even to that point, that makes it even more surprising.
Mainers will be at Martha's Vineyard tomorrow before an off day on Saturday. First pitch from Floyd. The breaking ball runs out of his hand, up and in.
Just came out a little early. No malintent, of course. Good reactions from TJ, though.
And he knows nobody's ever tried to purposely hit a guy on a slider before.
I wouldn't think so. Usually the weapon of choice is the heater there.
1-0, that runs up high, and the count's 2-0 to Schuyler.
We're at the point in the night where I have to break out my bug spray, Jackson. You've got the pants on, which is probably a smart choice, but
it hurts on the humid days sometimes, but pays off once in a while.
Today. Not too hot today.
2-0, fastball fisted in front of Kent. It's going to be a tough play, but Kent's a really solid second baseman. So there's 3 outs in the 4th, but not before Keene gets 2 more. It's 6-2 bats as we head to the 5th.
SwampBat fans, tonight's Sweeping the Bases is proudly brought to you by the people at Dream Clean 123, the Greater Monadnock region's premier cleaning services. Just like your house, a baseball field can always use a good cleaning. Let's hear it for Kendra and Brenna as they make sure SwampBat baseball is always played on a clean field. What do you see in Keene, New Hampshire? Harnessing the power of material science to invent life-changing technology. It is this dedication, along with our team's expertise in science and manufacturing, that has enabled us to tackle some of the world's toughest obstacle challenges. Lucky ticket time, ladies and gentlemen, for a $25 gift certificate to Applebee's. 638-7931.
Back here at Alumni Field as we head to the top of the 5th inning. The SwampBats just got 2 in the bottom of the 4th, so the lead is now 6-2 Keene. 9-1-2 due up for the Mainers as they'll try to erase this 4-run deficit. You flash back to the first game that finished up between these two teams. Sanford had a 6-2 lead when we picked it back up, and Keene returns the favor with a 6-2 lead of their own.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you, especially playing at home with a bigger crowd, not much of a crowd in that first game, and you're already trailing by 4. Game wasn't over at that point, but after that 5th inning, it was pretty much all said and done, and they only piled a little bit more on. But Keene getting out to that first lead has been incredible for them thus far this year. And they've struggled against teams that have been able to score against them first this year as well. It's just whoever scores first has such a big advantage in a lot of sports. I think baseball is one of the biggest ones. Football there too. Basketball, yeah, it doesn't really matter. But it is absolutely something that you should keep track of.
Especially when you take advantage of 3 walks to open up the game as, look out, Trey King in there, ducks out of the way of the first pitch from Shinosky.
How about Skip still staying in the game? It's his 5th inning of work. Not too shabby.
Shinosky had a quick 4th inning, just 5 pitches as counts now 1-1 to King. Trey King at the plate, popped up to third his first time up. That was when we saw a nice play from Romano, catching it over his head. Shinosky's 1-1. Breaking ball lined into right center field, and that's going to get down for a base hit in front of Pitts. It's a leadoff single in the 5th for Trey King, his first hit of the game.
Good job by Pitts out there in right to not overrun the ball. And good single for King, who in the previous picked up game drew a walk and scored in that massive 5th inning.
King batting 9th in this game, came in with an average of .308. So he leads off of first after the single. Brendan Sensai steps up to the plate. He's 0 for 2 tonight, struck out swinging his last time up. As he'll take the first one low and away for ball 1.
Trying to see who's starting to warm up over there in the bullpen.
Sensai at the plate.
Still there.
That's a strike, and Nick Lops instantly said in the coaching box over at third that ball was out, but Curtis Dugar says it caught the plate, so the count's 1-1. Sensai, the Plainville, Mass native, he's out of Bentley. The 1-1. He'll lay off of it for ball 2. Sensai this year, the NE10 Player of the Year, hit .411 for Bentley.
Oof.
Program record for single season hits with 86.
Holy cow.
The 2-1. Check swing, and Sensai definitely went around.
Yep. Said he got a piece of it.
Foul tip, but still an uncomfortable swing from Sensai, so the count's 2-2.
Yep. Angela Lepine getting hot down there in the bullpen.
King off of first, Sensai at the plate. The 2-2 swung on and missed. So back-to-back strikeouts for Shinosky of Brendan Sensai. He continues to roll, and there's one out in the 5th.
How about Skip Shinosky? This is one of his best outings, and it goes to show you the mental toughness, mental fortitude to respond after giving up a homer in that first inning. Came back, got an out, and he has not allowed a run since. It's really phenomenal stuff from the Penn State pitcher.
Luke Jenkins steps in. He has 2 of the 6 Mainers hits. 2 singles in the 1st and 3rd. The first pitch is upstairs from Shinosky for ball 1.
So Keene would like him to finish this inning, but he's approaching 65 pitches. This may be his last batter.
The 1-0. Hit in the air to left. Fairly high, but O'Brien camps under it. And there's 2 down.
They got a righty-righty matchup with Toomey coming up to the plate. If Skip can go 5 innings here, I mean, that's perfect for the SwampBats.
The first time Jenkins is retired tonight. Toomey steps up. He's 0 for 1. A deep fly out to left his first at bat. Worked a walk in the 3rd.
This is already the most strikeouts in an outing that Shinosky has had. He struck out 3 at Bristol back in June.
Breaking ball is fouled off. The count's 0-1 to Toomey.
Up to 4. Not a big strikeout guy usually either.
It's just changing the eye levels on Sanford. And a really good mix between going with his off speed and his fastball as well. Shinosky's 0-1. Breaking ball right down the middle for strike 2. So after the leadoff single from Trey King, Shinosky looking good. Struck out Sensai. Got Jenkins to fly out, and he's up 0-2 on Toomey. Righty kicks and fires. It skips in the dirt, picked by Skyler. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Got a fresh baseball.
Sanford looking to get above 500 for the first time all year, but currently trailing 6-2. The 1-2 breaking ball sent into the pine trees as Toomey stays alive.
Look at the scoreboard around the league today. Just curious to see who else is playing. If Keene gets this win, that means they'll be the first to 20 wins on the year because Newport's not playing tonight.
That one's upstairs, so the count's even at 2-2 to Toomey. This is the 5th of 6 meetings between Keene and Sanford this summer.
It's a great little rivalry.
It is one of the best in the league. The 2-2 cut on and missed. He struck him out. 2 punch outs in the 5th for Shinoski. Make that 5 on the day. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Keene leads 6-2.
We are Keene State. Here, we believe that everyone is welcome and anything is possible.
Look closer. We are a tight-knit community, an inclusive community, where people can be their true selves. Bring your ability, background, culture, or traditions, whatever makes you you.
You already have what it takes. Welcome to Keene State.
Back here in Keene, New Hampshire. An ad for Keene State between innings, and the man on the mound is from Keene State College. It's David Floyd. Was almost through his first inning of work. Had 2 outs, nobody on, but the SwampBats strung together a 2-out rally. A couple of singles, a hit by pitch, and a walk to extend the lead to 6-2. We'll have 8-9-1 due up here in the bottom of the 5th.
How about the day that Skip Shinoski has had as a second-year SwampBat, played with the team last year. I mean, man, what a day. It's a signature start. And we talked about it in the top of the broadcast with how, touch and go it has been with bullpen starts for the Bats this year. Shinoski, the best of the bunch thus far.
Huge start for him, and how about that bounce back after the 2-run first on the 2-run homer from Brennan Hudson. So 6 unanswered for Keene. Lead sits at 6-2 with Aiden Harris coming to the plate. He's looking for his first hit tonight. 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk.
I'd like to see him put together a good at-bat here. Let him showcase the smooth swing. He's got a really late move, which sometimes can throw him off, but if he gets a pitch to hit, watch out.
First pitch from Floyd. That's well outside for ball 1.
Now, did you ever do pitcher BP?
I did.
How did you fare in pitcher BP?
I was working on a line.
Oh, yeah?
Not a drop and drive guy, just line drive singles, shoot a couple of gaps.
Go spray it across the whole field?
Yep, sit back on it sometimes, drive it down the right field line.
There you go. Left-handed, right-handed hitter?
Right-handed.
There you go, okay.
Counts 1-1 to Harris after the fastball was in there for strike 1. Floyd comes to the plate, goes to the off-speed.
See, we had pitcher BP here yesterday, and there were some surprises.
Good or bad?
Oh, great ones. Todd Knibbie is always a fun guy to watch. He can swing it pretty well.
2-1 is fouled back. That'll even the count at 2-2.
John Malone, of course, has a home run in a game this year.
Always fun to watch BP here in general. With
of course.
Some of the balls flying over the hedges in dead center field. The 2-2 from Floyd. Breaking ball, cut on and missed, strike 3. First strikeout of the night for Floyd, and there's one down in the 5th.
Yeah, good sequence from Floyd, and Harris is still dealing with the strikeout bug a little bit, but the power is there. He's getting his reps. That's what's important as a young guy.
Brings up the 9-hole hitter, Andrew Bell. Shortstop out of Duke, 0 for 2 tonight. Called him Gabe Pitts earlier when Pitts came home.
Well, the blue
on the
helmet,
wild pitch, the blue helmet, the bright blue just jumps right there.
They're pretty fast, so honestly, can't blame him.
Fairly similar builds, too, out there. The 1-0. Fastball in there, called strike 1.
And 31 and 41 as well.
Yep. And that bright blue. It looks sweet, but with their backs, too, they look like the same guy. Floyd's 1-1 on the ground, softly on the left side. Sensei cuts it off. On to first in time, and there's 2 down.
For a guy who has not played third since high school, I don't believe it. I really don't, Jackson. He is too good of a fielder to not have played third in a game since high school. I don't buy it.
He told Nick Lops to trust him, and
hey,
paid off for Lops taking his word.
Yeah.
So 2 outs for Floyd. 2 quick outs, just like there was last inning. So Floyd's got to dig in here as the top of the order comes back around. Marshall Lipsy steps in. He has a hit tonight, an infield single back in the 2nd. Floyd to the plate. And that'll miss for ball 1. Once again, this is a 7-inning game, so we're in the late stages in the bottom of the 5th.
Yep.
That skips in there, and watch out, Curtis Duger.
Curtis has been put through the ringer behind the plate today. He's been hit twice. Took one off the mask in the very first inning.
It's a tough job back there.
Yeah.
So the count's 2-0 to Lipsy, the center fielder out of FAU. Swings on the 2-0, foul back for strike 1.
And you'll see next time here on this next offering, on the left side of your screen, once we cut to the center field camera, you'll see Time Anolfi. He doesn't like to use the on-deck circle. He likes to time it up and see it as well as he can, and I don't think anybody really notices.
It's a pretty good angle back there. The 2-1 on the ground to second. Good job from Kent to corral it. It throws a little wide, but Hudson holds the bag, and it's a 1-2-3 5th for David Floyd. Andrew Hilsman has you for the 6th and 7th here from Alumni Field.
Lucky ticket time, ladies and gentlemen. To a Fisher Fair Family 4-pack of tickets. 412-603. 412-603. Bring that to the Swamp Shop to get your Fisher Fair Family 4-pack of tickets. 412-603. And for a SwampBats shaker. 412-542. 412-542. Pick up your SwampBats shaker. 412-542.
It's the story of the game. 2 runs on 6 hits for Sanford, 1 error for the Mainers, and 6 runs on 5 hits. No errors for the SwampBats. And hey, look at that. Skip Shinoski, he is back out for inning number 6. Already through 5. He's only allowed 2 runs. His best appearance this year by far.
And why not? He's only faced 7 batters the last 2 innings. So you got a 6-run lead. Yep. Shinoski's been efficient out there. Thrown back out.
The only outing that comes to mind was his relief outing against Bristol on June 21st, where he got the win, went 3 1/3. No hits, no walks, no runs, struck out 3. So that one maybe a little higher, more perfect than this one, but this one off of a start and how he bounced back after the homer, hard to do much better.
Still got work to do. We've seen a lot of crazy things happen between these two teams.
Drama never stops until the last pitch is thrown. Sometimes it's even drama on the last pitch. First pitch is a strike to Brennan Hudson, who has had as pleasant of a day at the plate as anybody on either side of this baseball field. 0-1. Rolls over an off-speed pitch. Manolfi shuffles and throws out number 1 on 2 pitches.
And right off the end of the bat, good job from Shinosky. Had him way out in front. That's what you want a lefty to do on that pitch.
4 in a row now retired for Shinosky, and that might be it for Skip. Coach Sean McKenna will make the call to the bullpen. Skip Shinosky, what a day. 5 1/3 innings. Phenomenal. We'll make the call to the bullpen. Shinosky's day is done. His last appearance as a SwampBat this year, and what a way to end the summer for Skip.
Attention, please. Now pitching from SwampBats. From Stetson University in Winter Springs, Florida. Number 3, Andrew Lepine.
Andrew Lepine is the new arm on the mound, the submarine arm, but there is Skip Shinosky walking off the mound for the last time this summer as a SwampBat as he walks back to the bullpen. A 2-year SwampBat. And this year has been a fun one to watch. But here's another guy who's fun to watch. It's Andrew Lepine out of Stetson.
And you could tell going back to Shinosky that he's a guy that has earned the respect of his teammates and
100%.
And manager Sean McKenna. The reason McKenna threw him back out here for the 6th was so he could get an out and come off the mound to the crowd, letting him know that was his last outing of the summer. Just one of those really cool things about baseball, and you see him in the bullpen getting some love from his fellow pitchers.
Great guy to be around on the bus, in the clubhouse, post-game. Funny dude. And Lepine, who is coming off of his best outing of the summer as well. This past Saturday, 5 days ago against Bristol, got the win in 4 innings, allowed 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 15 batters faced. Making his 9th appearance on the year with a 3.46 ERA and 13 innings pitched.
And this is the guy you want to go to here. He's coming off really good appearances, as you just talked about, Andrew. You don't want to mess around with this 4-run lead. You feel pretty comfortable, but you don't want to mess around at all. So a good move to go to Lepine here from Sean McKenna.
1 away in the top half of the 6th, and Dom Tazi will look to improve on his day at the plate. First pitch, a strike. Lepine, not a guy that's going to blow you away with the velocity, but 78 from below the hip, not too shabby.
That works. It's different, and that's why it works.
That one's in the dirt. Full effort guy, and I would not be shocked, Jackson, if we see Lepine go an inning to set up Todd Knibbie.
We'll see here. Wouldn't be surprising at all considering how lights out Knibbie has been.
Just misses.
Lepine's probably the closest pitcher the SwampBats have on their staff this year to their pitching coach, Stephen Banks, who was a member of the SwampBats last year.
Big hack from Dom Tazi, as it's 2-2 from Lepine now. Tazi on the day He's 0 for 2. Reached on a fielder's choice in the third, but was stranded there. Shanoski has afforded the SwampBats the ability to not have to go deep into their bullpen. That one sails away, but Skyler nabs it. I think he threw it back to Lapine, maybe faster than Lapine threw it to him.
Yeah, that was a breaking ball that just yanked out of his hand. And when you're throwing from that angle, when you yank a breaking ball, it's like a rise ball up and away.
Yep. 3-2. Fouled back. Tazi had to wait. He loaded on the ground and had to hold his swing, just stayed alive there.
It's a good fight. You never want to let a guy get in a groove with the first man he faces. We've talked about it before in the prior game, that first out of any inning. In this case, it's the first batter that Lapine has faced, so you want to get that out.
Line drive, and it drops in front of Gabe Pitts for a single. Well hit ball off the bat at 91. One away, one on in the sixth for the Mainers.
It's one of those hits where you just got to tip your cap to the batter. That's just a great piece of hitting from Tazi. Full count. Saw it deep, took it the other way, and you got to string together something here if you're Sanford. You've been quiet at the plate, just those 2 runs in the first on one swing. You got to get something going at some point.
Lapine with a runner on first brings up Kyle Doohan, who's 0 for 2. Last recorded out, he flew out to center on that diving and sliding catch from Marshall Lipsy. Ground ball left side, and it goes foul. Hard hit ball,
foul.
very close, yep. Right over the bag and hop towards the south side of the line. Minolfi, Romano, and Gabe Pitts are due up for the bats in the bottom of the sixth. Lapine's offering, foul back our way over the press box. And it's 0-2 after a couple foul balls.
Doohan had a big single last game in the blowout win, and what a cool story it was seeing him here on a temporary contract at the beginning of the summer, then rejoining the team, and he's been in the lineup, middle of the lineup especially.
Just a miss, and yeah, when you have those temp guys who leave during the season, they're not going to expect to come back, but Nick Lopp says, hey, we need you.
Because he earned it too. He left as a temp guy. He was 6 for 12 at the plate by the time he left.
Not too bad. That's the same way with Gabe Pitts. He's been here on a temp contract the whole year. Hard line drive. O'Brien rushes after it, sells out for it, and he can't make the catch. Has to hustle for it. Moving around third. They'll send him home. There goes Tazi. Mainers will score. And an RBI triple for Kyle Doohan. Yes, he sure has earned it, Jackson. What a hit.
Shows it off right there. That's a great piece of hitting. And I was surprised how close to the line that O'Brien was shaded and left. You'll see it here on the replay. He is way out there. That's a line drive, and he's already on the line. That's a gamble, though, to sell out for that ball. That could either be a single with Tazi getting the third or maybe a double for Doohan. But
hey, they're gonna
gamble didn't pay off. So, yeah, a triple.
So Tazi scores from first, and it's a 3-run ball game. Mainers have 3 runs on 8 hits. This game is not over just yet at all.
I was saying in that spot, too, if that O'Brien holding up and not diving for it, that's where you could have seen it drop in front and only hold Doohan to a single, but went to the gamble to try to make the big play. Didn't work out for him.
Swing, a line drive, back up the middle, and now it's a 2-run ball game. Doohan scores on an RBI single from Charlie Jones. He's 3 for 3.
Just what the doctor ordered for the Mainers. They're seeing Lapine really well right now. That's 3 consecutive hard hit singles, and Zach Kent's coming to the plate. He's another good bat. All of a sudden, we got a 2-run game.
Have a look at how this one got through just past the mound. Nick Romano will chat with his pitcher. It's like, you know who that is. That's Todd Knibbie warming up, and Stephen Bangs is going to come out and chat with his pitcher on the mound. The Todd father, as he's called, is warming up in the bullpen.
And you got to buy Knibbie a little bit of time right now. Obviously, Lapine doesn't have his best stuff, or you can say that Sanford's bats have really come alive here in the 6th, and they couldn't wait any longer to come alive because you're going to see Knibbie in the 7th either way. Might see him here in the 6th, depending on how the rest of this inning goes.
2 balls in play. That's the good news for the SwampBats. They'll leave Lapine out there. A mound visit. Stephen Bangs gets his infield set. big moment here for Andrew Lapine. He's attacking the zone, which is good. You don't want a guy just letting runners on by walks.
Just great piece of hitting from the Mainers. Everything hard hit on a line.
Yep. Tough to lift the ball against Lapine.
It's still tough going back to that dive with O'Brien. If he could redo it, he'd probably let that drop in front, and that's not going to score a run with a 4-run lead. A single's not going to hurt you.
There's a strike. It's 0-1 to the 8-hole hitter, Zach Kent, trying to be Superman and tie this game for the Mainers. Foul tip, heads up. Back off the fence. 0-2.
It's a good response with the breaking ball from Lapine. Just had a little bit out in front was Kent. He was ready for it, though, just a little early.
Lapine delivers, called, strike 3, down he goes.
Right down the middle, just surprised Zach Kent. Looked like he was sitting off speed. That one, inner part of the plate. Perfect bounce back pitch, but not out of it yet. Just 2 outs and another good bat at the plate.
And they're going to take Lapine out of this game with the lefty Trey King up to the plate. You know what time it is. It's time for the Todd father. Todd Knibbie comes into the game to try and slam the door. Bats by 2 away, top of the 6th. Time for Todd Knibbie, the hard-throwing, flame-throwing righty who last appeared on Saturday against Bristol, pitched an inning, got the save, he walked 1, struck out 1, and has pitched against Sanford earlier in the year in that 12-1 victory back in June.
This is what you had to do if you're Sean McKenna. You got to go to your guy in this spot. It's all of a sudden a 2-run game. Trey King coming to the plate. Lapine didn't have his best stuff, but the Mainers bats really came alive this inning. Now you go to your shutout guy to try to get the 4-out save.
So Trey King, who is 1 for 2, he's popped out to Romano at 3rd and then singled in the 5th. We'll see what Knibbie has today. It's always a fun time when you get to watch Todd Knibbie take the mound late in the game. Out of FAU, rising senior, 6'6", 250 pounds, and a 1.03 ERA, and 8.2 innings pitched.
Going back to this point, another reason why free passes will really hurt you at the end of the game. Mainers trailing by 2, but out hitting Keene by 4.
It's the story of the game, the walks. Zach Kent struck out, and that prompted the pitching change. First pitch, a fastball, backhanded by Bell, but he bats it down and everybody's safe. It's a very hard hit ball after 94-mile-an-hour heater. Got a pitch to hit.
I think that one fooled Bell a little bit. It looked really hard off the bat, ended up only being 76, so it kind of died on him and then panicked a little as he went to the backhand. A really good start for the Mainers, though. You get 94 on the first pitch from Knibbie, but King able to put it on a line the other way.
Top of the order, let's see if Sensei has any more alumni magic. First offering by his barrel at 94.
Well, he was going for it there.
I mean, why not, right? First pitch swinging, you probably know what you're going to get. You're going to get a fastball. And it was high in the zone. It's a Good one to swing at, looks appetizing. Keene comes set, 0-1. 2 on, 2 out. Fastball, leaves it high.
I like going back to that pitch. Since I swung at the high fastball the pitch before, why not go back to it?
1-1 count to Brendan Sensei, who just a week ago hit 3 home runs at this very same park. 1-1 pitch. Fastball by him. Back pick. Tag. Not in time. Skyler always aggressive with a cannon behind the plate.
And at that point, if you're Charlie Jones on second, you don't want to get far enough off to even make it a contest over there. It's just not the spot to get thrown out.
Jones at second and Trey King at first with Sensei at the plate, the Sanford Mainers third baseman. Keene, the 1-2. Off speed, out in front. Bell lets it get through. And they'll hold everybody. Bases are loaded. Just got under Andrew Bell's glove. And that'll be an error.
Back-to-back balls to Bell's backhand. He didn't get a firm stab on it. Jenkins coming to the plate here, not a power guy, but a guy that can certainly serve up a single to the outfield. Already has 2 of them in this game.
Good job by Michael O'Brien to get in on that ball and back up Bell in case it got through, which it did. But good news for the SwampBats is that there's 2 away. Outfield is shaded to the left. Infield is back. First pitch to the lefty Jenkins. Foul tip, 95.
That's just here you go. Try to hit this fastball right down the middle of 95. And Jenkins didn't get blown away by it, though. Got a piece of it.
Maybe just dropped the barrel a little low. 0-1. Keene ahead. Leaves it inside. 96 that time.
You can almost feel the tension out there right now. This
absolutely.
Is a massive spot of this game. Probably the biggest at-bat of the summer for Luke Jenkins.
He's 2 for 3 on the day with a couple of singles. He's already scored a run. 1-1, righty-lefty. Straight back to the well with the fastball. Fouled high and back. And now, where does Keene go?
You got to think fastball, but who knows? Jenkins is a good bat. I think the breaking ball would fool him if anything here, but Kenebe's a guy that has that plus fastball, and he can really trust it in big spots like this.
The flamethrower comes set, 1-2, 2 away. Here's Keene. Stays alive, 96. He's really giving it his all.
And Jenkins isn't going down without a fight right now. You can hear Keene out there grunting on that pitch, but see Jenkins there at the plate making him work. He's swinging the bat well lately. He's seeing it well. Won't go down without a fight. It's going to take a really good pitch to put him away.
It's the fastest velocity he's seen all night for sure. Bases loaded, 1-2, 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th, Keene kicks, deals. Off speed outside. Goes with the changeup that time.
How about laying off of that, too? It's a little out.
Yep.
Maybe a ball closer would have been a little more tempting, but still a really close pitch to lay off of with 2 strikes.
I think Skyler's set up inside as well. 2-2, deuce is wild. Here we go again. Fastball hit high, left center field. O'Brien has a beaten left. He makes a couple steps back. And Keene gets it done. To the bottom of the 6th we go. Bats still lead by 2 at 6-4 with Medolfi, Romano, and Pitts due up.
All right, SwampBat fans, you know what time it is. That's right, it's t-shirt time. Brought to you by our good friends at Panda. Get on your feet and make some noise for a free t-shirt.
New pitcher is Gage Wheaton. Here's a look at some of the SwampBats interns. We're always having fun here at the ballpark.
Always a good
little bit
time
of posing
coming here
going
to
on over
Keene.
there. Yep.
Been able to see everyone. Ryan Fitzpatrick down there.
Yep. Liam Falla, the director of game day operations, he does a great job. So Gage Wheaton is into the game after a clutch inning from the Mainers, brought them to within 2. SwampBats would love a couple of insurance runs, and Manolfi the perfect choice to start him out.
That was a big inning for Sanford, but then you got to look at it, even allowing 2 runs, that's still a big inning for Keene because you strand the bases loaded there, and Jenkins wasn't going down without a fight. Kanibi ultimately able to win the battle on the fly out to left, but this is a really big spot for Wheaton. He's coming off a scoreless appearance, but the 2 before that didn't go so well. One of them against Keene right here on June 28th, an inning and a third, 3 earned. So looking for something better here and try to give his team a chance in the 7th.
Final stat line for David Floyd. He faced 10 batters, went 2 full innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned, a walk and a strikeout. So the pressure builds. Seems like it's one of those games between Keene and Sanford. Seen it once this year, it went Sanford's way. Seen it once this year, it went Keene's way in Goodell Park.
It's been a fantastic battle,
and there's been a blowout on both sides.
And even dating back to last year too, Sanford had the series lopsided, but all of those games were still fantastic games, especially in the playoffs in front of packed houses. You could just see Tazi getting on the same page with Wheaton there. Once again, a really big moment in this game, only playing 7 here in the bottom of the 6th.
So Wheaton will climb the hill, and here we go in the home half of the 6th with Manolfi to the plate. And he looks at one that drifts high.
Got to work to limit the free passes if you're Wheaton here. 5 2/3 so far this summer, 4 strikeouts, but 5 walks.
Got to avoid what plagued Teague in the first.
Really set the tone for this game.
Yes, it did. There's a strike to Manolfi. Catches the outside corner.
Raiders felt really good after getting 2 in the first on the Brennan Hudson homer, but Keene responds, 3 walks and then a grand slam from Herring, and they haven't surrendered the lead since. The last time the Mainers did any damage was there on the top of the 6th to get 2 runs.
1-1, even count to Manolfi. That's in the dirt. Oh my goodness. Curtis Dugar is getting drilled behind the plate today. He's been hit everywhere. Once in the face, once in the chest, once a little lower. He is just getting put through the ringer today.
Glad to see that caught the chest protector pretty square there. That's probably where he has the most padding.
Oh yeah, he's fine after that one. 2-1 after the ball in the dirt. Manolfi jumps on it but fouls it back. See, he was right on that, timed it up well, but dropped the barrel a little low.
It's always big to get the first batter of every inning, especially when it's arguably the top hitter in the NECBL.
That's what the average says. Here's the 2-2 off speed, called strike 3. Just catches the top half of the zone. An excellent put-away pitch from Wheaton, and that brings up Romano with 1 away.
Really good start for Gage. You need that out, especially with 3, 4, 5 waiting to come to the plate. That's good because it's momentum for himself, and then it's just momentum for the team overall. You feel good after those 2 runs. You got to keep it going here in the 6th.
Is Nick Romano, who scored twice, reached on a walk and a hit by pitch, and struck out once as well. So he's 0 for 1. First offering misses low. Good presentation by Dom Tazi, but couldn't catch the bottom part of the zone.
Yeah, you learned from the best Bodine at Coastal Carolina all about framing. And
yeah,
even though Tazi didn't have the reps behind the plate this year, had the at-bats, played in 42 games, DH'd a lot, but still a great catcher nonetheless.
1-0 runs high off the tip of Tazi's glove, and this time past Curtis Dugar.
Sure, that was a sigh of relief for Dugar behind the plate.
Whizzed right by his ear. 2-0. Ahead early as Romano. He's already given 2 free passes today, looking for a third, but that's a strike. Good pitch.
Has some good velocity, 92 on the fastball there. He's a big arm for Niagara this spring out of the MAC, the AA MAC.
That's right. 2 balls and a strike to Romano. This is low. Wheaton's last outing in the blowout win at against North Shore for the Mainers just 3 days ago. He pitched an inning, walked 1, struck out 1. But it's been sort of up and down. That was his best inning or outing of the year.
That's why you see him out there now in a big spot for him to build off of that.
3-1 in the dirt. 1 out walk for Romano. That'll bring up Gabe Pitts. You wonder if they bring the bunt into play here with Pitts to the plate.
Got to think about it with the speed, but 1 out. Who knows? Anything can happen. This would even be a good spot for a bunt for a hit situation instead of a sacrifice.
I think that's what Pitts is going for every time because he has the speed for it.
Just got to make sure you don't bunt it right back at the pitcher. Yep. That's the art of bunting as well.
Yep. One of the best on the team when it comes to that. O'Brien also very talented. Saw TJ Schuyler lay down a sacrifice last night to drive in a run against the Mountaineers.
Unbelievable that, I believe I heard correctly, there was no home runs last night.
Not a single one.
Game that had 25 combined runs.
That is correct. Not a single home run.
Unbelievable.
I know. It's an anomaly here at Alumni Field. Fresh count to the right fielder, Gabe Pitts. Won't bump this time. He looks at 1 in the dirt.
Time for a double play. Keep the pitch count down for Wheaton.
Wouldn't find any complaints.
Also make him available for the Vineyard game tomorrow. You want everybody available as possible, considering Sanford has used a lot of arms here in game 2.
Nice take by Pitts, started the hands. He's drawn 4 walks on the year, driven in 2 runs. He's hitting .308 in 39 at-bats. Appeared in 19 games. Does not have a hit since at Newport last Friday. That one catches the zone. Good presentation again from Tazi. He gets the call that time.
That's a big one to get too, because
2-1 versus
3-0.
Yep. Think about the count swing. Pitts in a big spot with Romano leading off of first. That one's also over the plate.
You can tell he's commanding that breaking ball better than his fastball right now. We'll see if he triples up on it here, 2-2.
See what Pitts is looking for. He's choked up on the bat. 2-2. Here comes Wheaton. Barely gets a piece and stays alive. That time at 92. Ran it in and high on the hands.
It's a great fight right there. That's a tough pitch to get to. It's a tough pitch to barrel up number 1, but really tough to foul it off, stay alive. That's what you got to do in that situation. Make Wheaton work, continue this at bat, and see if he'll throw you something to hit.
So it's 2-2. Still only 1 away. Just high, runs it full. Phenomenal take on 2-2 from Pitts.
It's a big inning for Keene to try to get at least 1 run. Going from 3 runs, close to that 2-run lead is a big difference, especially going into that last inning.
Big time moment right here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss, down goes Pitts. Challenged him right above the zone at 93 and got a swing.
Stayed steady with the fastballs. That's just good pitching. That's a big out too, because then you get 2 down opposed to 2 runners on and 1 out. Try to get your team here to the 7th, only trailing by 2, which isn't that many considering the way the games have gone between these two teams all summer.
Especially with a team who's managed 10 hits today. In the Mainers, final attendance 1,450 through the gates for game 2. O'Brien fouls one back, way out of play.
Sanford.
The longer this inning goes on, the better it gets for Keene, but you have to keep it going. Keene will be ready to come back out.
The biggest impact on this game isn't even at the ballpark right now, too, with Herring in that first inning grand slam.
Yeah, he got a trip home early. He was ejected for, I guess, arguing balls and strikes or saying something to the home plate umpire after he struck out swinging in the second inning. McKenna was given a warning after that as well. But it's been pretty quiet since. 1-1 onto the way. Misses outside to O'Brien, who laced a single back up the middle and drove in a run in the 4th. That's the most recent run that Keene has scored. Two-1. That's high. Good take by O'Brien. He's seen the ball well today.
He's got some swing and misses on that high fastball, has Wheaton, but O'Brien's doing a good job of just letting it go right now. He's in a 3-1 count. Good chance he gets a fastball here. We have seen Wheaton go to the breaking ball when he's down in counts, and I talked about he's really commanding it well, so we'll see if he's comfortable enough to throw it to a lefty bat. 3-1 here.
He's got to attack. 3-1. Runs it full, right past the barrel. A little late maybe on that swing from O'Brien. And we're full on the count. Romano will move.
This is a good 3-1 challenge fastball. I wouldn't hate to see him go back to that pitch right here. The guys haven't been seeing the fastball well. That one base runner on Romano reached on a walk.
Good live arm in Wheaton. Tupou on deck if the inning can stay alive. 3-2, 2 outs. There goes Romano. Fouled off and out of play. We will do it again. Lands in the bleachers.
Could be a really big swing game in terms of standings for this rest of the summer. Already working our way into mid-July. Once again, if Sanford wins this game, they're 3.5 back. If Keene wins it, 5.5 game buffer in front of the Mainers.
And they'll be the first team to 20 wins this year. Another full count payoff on the way. Maybe a third.
Back-to-back fastballs that O'Brien has fouled off. Wheaton's confident in it, and he should be. He has 2 strikeouts on it. See if he goes to it here. Try to finally put O'Brien away, or if O'Brien stays alive at the dish.
One more time at least at 3-2. Romano runs. Called strike 3. Down goes O'Brien. A breaking ball after a couple of excellent fastballs has him looking. We head to the top of the 7th as Keene will trot back out and try and close this game on the other side of the break. Last chance for the Mainers as they look to get above 500 for the first time in 2025. They've got a good part of the order to do it with. Jack Toomey, Brandon Hudson, and Dom Tazi up to the plate to face Todd Kinniby, the hard-throwing right-hander for the SwampBats.
And if you're a baseball fan, this is the exact situation you want. Two really good teams, the top two in the North Division. One of the best bullpen arms in the NECBL on the mound. In the heart of the Mainers order coming up with Toomey, Hudson, and Tazi. Three really good bats. Should be a good matchup here in the top of the 7th.
Good is an understatement, I think. This will be a fantastic matchup. Kinniby comes set, and here we go in the top of the 7th. Sanford down to their final 3 outs. They trail by 2. First pitch is low and away. He goes to the slider, first pitch.
Surprising considering how many fastballs we saw at the tail end of last inning. But you just want to change the looks for hitters, knowing that they might be expecting the fastball.
Behind in the count, 1-0. Toomey stands in, he's ready. Fastball that time, way past his barrel.
That's impossible to get to at 94, top of the zone, too.
Just see how much ride it has on it, too. Kinniby shakes off Skyler, now gets the sign and comes set. Looks in. 1-1. Fastball, zips it away, 94.
Toomey's just got to make Kinniby come to him and hopefully be ready for the fastball.
4 runs on 10 hits for the Mainers in this game. 2-1 to Toomey. Fastball catches the zone, 95.
Well, like the fastball upstairs, the fastball at 95, low and away, is also not a bad pitch.
3 outs away, looking for a strikeout. Here comes Kinniby. Foul ball down the right field line, and it goes out of play. Late on 95, kind of tough not to be.
Just a good matchup. That's all it is
Big
at the
time.
plate, Kinniby and Toomey.
We're gonna have 3 straight good matchups, especially with Hudson, who's on deck as a lefty hitter. 2-2. Off speed, fouled back into the swamp.
What a battle right now, and just like Luke Jenkins, we saw him fly out to make the end of last inning. Toomey's a guy that's not going to go down without a fight. He's going to work counts. You're going to really have to do a good job on the mound if you're going to strike him out.
Here's the 7th pitch of the at-bat from Kinniby. 8 might be great here, too.
Back-to-back off-speeds from Kinniby there, and Toomey just doing a good job to stay alive, working the count. Kinniby didn't have the cleanest inning last inning, a single. Didn't get helped out with an error, then got Jenkins to fly out, but still a long at-bat.
2-2. Pitch number 8. Liner, that's down for a base hit. Good play. Pitts is going to throw. Cut off by Manolfi. Tag not in time. It's a double.
Well, I was holding my breath when I saw Toomey round first base. I'm sure Nick Lops was too, and that was a really good job by Pitts in right field to field that, because I thought it had a good chance to get to the wall. It would have been for sure 2 bases, maybe 3, and you see it here. Just sat back on the fastball up and away, line to left field, and how about that job from Pitts? Got it, turned, fired, but the throw was cut off. That just gave Toomey enough time to get into second.
Puts up the Moose Antlers celebration, and now the tying run at the plate in Brennan Hudson. 11 hits now on the day for Sanford. Kinniby still with no outs. That at 86, a changeup catches the bottom of the zone. And the Georgia man who already has a home run in this game, 2 at this field on the day. Wouldn't he like to make it 3? Here's the 0-1. That one's low. Kinniby above 20 pitches now.
You got to worry about fatigue at some point. His longest outing, 2 innings, only faced 7 batters. And that was back on June 23rd, so it's been a bit.
He's facing his 5th at the moment. There's the 1-1 to Hudson. High pop-up, into the night sky. Who's going to call this one off? It's Bell, and he makes the catch for out number 1.
It's one of the weirder balls I've seen the shortstop take. That was right where Manolfi was standing, camped under it, but the shortstop's the captain of the infield. A good job from Bell to take charge. If you're going to take a ball not in your typical spot, you got to take charge, and that's what he did there.
Well, we saw that happen with the Bats yesterday. There was a shallow fly ball that hung up in the air for a while. Very shallow center field. It dropped right in between the center fielder and the shortstop and second baseman.
That's a big first out, too, right there, because Hudson's going to want that pitch back. He just got under it.
Here's Tazi. 1 for 3. Righty-righty matchup. Kennedy deals. Fastball by him. 94. Strikeouts. And some would say only 94, but still 94.
Fantastic velocity. And Tazi swings every time like he's trying to lift one to left, but just like a couple of the lefty batters for Sanford, a lot of his success is to the opposite field. That's where his 1 home run at Keene, it was off the barn to right center.
0-1 to Tazi. Fastball late on it again. Another 94.
The last 2 at-bats have been a little different for Tazi. Faced Lapine, who was low 80s from a sidearm delivery, and now Kanibi bringing it straight over the top in the mid-90s.
0-2 with 1 away. Got him swinging. 95. And the Mainers are down to 1 out.
3 straight fastballs saying, come here and hit this. And this is the kind of closer you want if you're Sean McKenna and Keene, a guy that just straight can bring it on the mound. And a little deflating for Sanford right here after the leadoff double and back-to-back outs.
And Kyle Dewin, who came in on a temporary contract and came back because Nick Lops needed him back. He has an RBI triple today. He represents the tying run. In the dirt and away.
I'd have to think this is the hardest thrower that Dewin has seen since maybe facing David Floyd at some point this year at Keene State. Dewin out of Southern Maine, also in the Little East Conference like Keene State and Floyd.
1 ball, no strikes with 2 away. Right by him. Sitting comfortably at 94 is Kanibi. One. Foul tip into the glove. That at 95. And Kanibi 1 strike away from his 3rd save of the year.
Was worried
and
about
for the Bats to be the first team to 20 wins in 2025.
Not running out of gas. He's bringing it out there on the hill.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes Kanibi. Just outside. Just needs 1 pitch. And on the same side, Dewin also just needs 1 pitch.
Doesn't have a homer this summer. Had a couple this spring. Typically not a power guy. Be a pretty good time for one.
For the Bats to be the first to 20. Fouled back, and he stays alive. Almost 30 pitches now. That is 30 pitches for the closer, Kanibi. He breathes and focuses, gets the sign from Skyler. 2-2, 2 away. Kanibi kicks and deals. Fastball. How much longer can Dewin make us wait?
And that was going to be ball 3, but you got to swing at that if you're doing. You don't want to go down
close,
looking.
right.
Yep, anything close, exactly. It's 95 upstairs. Impressive to even get a piece of that.
So another 2-2. The 7th pitch of the at-bat on its way. Here comes Kanibi. Let's do 8 again.
How about that? Goes to the breaking ball, low and inside. And
After
Doing able to react to it after getting the fastball up high.
Now, how does that mess with a hitter's thought process? You've got to see both.
Did a good job with it there, just was ready for it. You got to fight it off in that situation, and he did exactly that. It's more of a spot of just trying to wait for Keene to come to you with the fastball. You've got to be expecting it, but it's tough to know he has that breaking ball in his back pocket.
Pitch number 8 on a 2-2 count. Keene kicks and deals. Fastball. How about number 9?
Wasn't that bad?
Well, this is unbelievable. This is awesome. Four straight foul balls. Keene shakes off Skyler twice. The 5th 2-2 offering. Fly ball, Romano moves under it. The game's over. Keene for save number 3, and the SwampBats are the first team to 20 wins in the summer of 2025.
It's just an all-around great baseball game, and what a job from Keene to come in there and get some really big outs down the end. And Sanford wasn't letting him go down easy. A lot of contact, not as many strikeouts as we see from Keene. Had one here in the 7th, but what a game, and these two teams will possibly be seeing each other as we head down the road.
I wouldn't doubt it. All right, that's all we've got until we come back to recap this game. The Bats win. They're 20-10 on the year. Final score 6-4. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Thank you for joining us tonight. That next home game will be this Tuesday night when we host the North Island Steeple Cats. Again, that game does not appear on the schedule. It is a makeup game. Tuesday. We take on the Steeple Cats here at Alumni Field. Good night. Please travel home safely.
SwampBats win 6-4, and they move to 20-10 on the year. Sanford falls to 14-15. An exciting game here at Alumni Field, but there's plenty more excitement around the league. Ryan Fitzpatrick has your out-of-town scoreboard update.
Thank you, guys. Well, first, we'll take a trip over to Danbury, Connecticut, where the Westerners take down the North Adams Steeple Cats 8-6. Over to the Valley, the Blue Sox lost to the visiting Bristol Blues 6-2 at Mackenzie Stadium. And in Martha's Vineyard, the Sharks took down the Ocean State Waves 4-1. That is your out-of-town scoreboards. Back to you guys.
Thanks ever so much, Ryan. Well, Jackson, what a day at the ballpark. Big win for Sanford in the continued game from Tuesday, and Keene responds, takes advantage of the free passes, and comes back with a big statement win.
You knew you were going to get a good game here in the second after the blowout in the first. So you see it there on the scoreboard, 11 hits for Sanford. They lose by 2, and that's where free passes hurt you. 3 walks to start the game, and credit Keene for taking advantage of that. Herring just drilled one to right field, and that set the tone for the rest of this game. The Mainers knocked on the door a couple of times, but timely pitching and hitting from Keene allowed them to hold on.
And they looked like they might have had Kenebe's number, but he ended up shutting it down with a pop out. He struck out 1, only allowed 1 hit. Todd Kenebe gets his 3rd save of the year. And how about Skip Shinosky? The win on the day, and Keene has a 5.5 game lead in the North Division.
It's exactly what they need at this point. That was a big swing game. If you lose that game, 3.5 lead, and Sanford continues to play with momentum. So you slow the Mainers down a little bit, but a big game in the Vineyard tomorrow, then the off day. You want to go get that one to get back to 500 and then really turn it around in the final 2 weeks of the season.
Keene will look to make it 2 in a row at Mystic tomorrow, the only team in the league they have yet to face. So we'll see how that goes down in Groton, Connecticut. But here at Alumni Field, that's all we've got. Bats win 6-4. They get 5 hits on 1 error. Sanford 4 4 runs on 11 hits, 1 error of their own. For everybody involved in this broadcast, for our wizard of a producer, Mike Keller, our lead camera operator, Ryan Goodwin, our sideline reporter, Ryan Fitzpatrick, all of our other camera operators, and of course, my color commentator, co-broadcaster, and good friend, Jackson Walsh. I'm Andrew Hilsman saying so long from Alumni Field. Bats win 6-4. Thanks for watching this presentation of ESPN. Copyright the New England Collegiate Baseball League.